Call to order Muncie Park and Recreation Board meeting, September 16th. If we would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Chandra Parks. James Letton.
Here.
Mark Urban.
Here.
Shannon Powers.
Here.
Brad Marshall.
Here. Chandra did let me know she had probably can't hear me at all. Chandra did let me know she had a family commitment. She wasn't able to make it tonight. Sorry. Next on the agenda, we've got the approval of the minutes from the August meeting. There's no discussion or revisions. I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes approved. Next, we've got Mr. Carl Malone on the superintendent report.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
So as I look at the report, you see that we have the Indiana IPRA conference. I just wanted to reiterate that. Like to have all the board members put that down and kind of maybe try to attend as well. It's a lot of training there, so I think some good information that we all can gather, being that we have it in our city. So that's kind of why I put it that there. Just wanted to make sure everybody's invited to attend if your schedule allows you to.
Okay.
IU Health was in town Friday at 3 of our parks, and they came out and did some volunteer work at Alshire, Thomas, and Westside. And that consists of a lot of painting, basketball courts, some painting of our playground equipment there at Alshire, and we also painted the shed at Thomas Park, and also the baseball tower there at Thomas Park. They also delivered 2 nice picnic tables with some and 2, I think, planter boxes there at our shop. And so I want to give a big shout out to IU, Matt Cox and his team for coming out and wanting to help out with beautifying our 3 parks. They chose those 3 parks, Alshire, Thomas, and Westside. It was 3 that they picked. So as far as the rest of it goes, we plan on attending the state conference this year with the focus being on programming. Now that we have a program director in place, then we plan on going in and trying to network and talk with all the other professionals around the state about some of their programming, some of their funding opportunities they may have, and just some general information about programming, and hope to bring some good stuff back to our parks. Also, I have a hard time seeing my glasses, but we have four parks that we're going to have on display during the state conference.
Okay.
Tour guide, Prairie Creek Reservoir will be one to talk about. The educational center will be a tour site, one of our sites. The other site, of course, would be Westside, the skate park. And then our third site would be Store Estates, that's the park. And then we'll circle back around to Riverview and have them take a look at their park design as well. Restrooms should be completed sometime in November. Don't know if it's going to be before the conference, but it's the timeline we got is sometime in November. So.
At Riverview?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Thomas.
And Thomas. They're going to probably be finished around about the same time. Tui Pool, we got confirmation that they will be in on the 19th to drain the pool. At that time, we'll make any minor repairs to the pool itself, as far as cracks and minor repairs that we can make. I think last year we didn't get them all done, so we plan on getting that done early this year. and then they'll come back and return on the 23rd, then we'll start the winterization. YMCA has been in this week. I think they've gotten pretty much all their stuff out. The concession stand, Pepsi machines, things of that nature. They've returned several keys that were out in the email, so we have those keys to get a hold on and take a good inventory of all the keys there. So looking forward to the 2 weeks. Over at Bewley, we had a lot of water being saturated through the west side of and the rear of Bewley Center, and we didn't know where that water was coming from. So we had Jaybird come over and put their expertise in place, and they did a lot of troubleshooting and determined that maybe that the sewer maintenance was a better team, experts to come in, and they did. They came in and helped and put some of the equipment in the ground to kind of see where the water's coming from. And so after a couple days of troubleshooting, it's a project that they're gonna undertake themselves to figure out how to resolve that issue there with that water. McCullough Park, similar thing. We had over the weekend, we had rental, and then we had some issues with water. There was a water leak that ran to the rear of the building and then out into the park itself. A lot of water was there, saturated. Actually, I ran into that water on Sunday myself with my truck. Didn't know where the water was coming from. It wasn't rainwater, but the water was starting to really fill in there at the park itself. And so, again, we called on Jaybird and those guys to come in, and they had to do a lot of digging, had to do a lot of troubleshooting to figure out where this leak was at. They started out inside the cabin, which meant they had to go in and remove some things in the kitchen area, had to remove the sink and kind of go in that way to kind of troubleshoot, had to go into the bathroom and do the same thing, had to cut out some areas to just try to troubleshoot. And then as they got on outside, to the outside, they did some digging, and sure enough, it was out by the pavement there, about 5 or 6 feet away from the back of the building. So there was a bunch of work they had to do to get that fixed, but they were able to troubleshoot it and get that fixed and get it repaired. So everything's looking good at this point. So we can continue with our rentals, as you know, as they call the office. And I think Nikki and them had to put a tent up and 2 porta pots over the weekend just to kind of satisfy the people there. So, but we did get that completed. And then, like I said, IU Health was in. I just said something about that, but just wanted to let you know that we really appreciate IU Health and having a neighboring partner right here in our city, willing to help parks out. So I think that's all I have as far as on the superintendent report. But what I do have before I move into the programming, Mr. Caleb to come in and give us a follow-up on skate park information that he had at last month's board meeting.
Thank you, Carl. Good evening, Parks Board and Muncie community. My name is Caleb Sports, and I am the community advocate for a legal graffiti wall at the West Side Skate Park. In the August 2025 Parks Board meeting, after I shared an update on the community survey and fundraising efforts, we discussed the future of the project, and the board suggested that we double the scale of the initial installation and seek out grant funding opportunities. I have scheduled a pre-grant meeting with the George and Francis Ball Foundation, also known as GFBF. On October 20th from noon to 1 p.m., the meeting will be held via Zoom. Representatives from partnership organizations are encouraged to attend. At this meeting, we will meet with GFBF program staff, Courtney Zimmerman and Kelsey Harrington. Their staff will review the proposal's idea, be available to answer any questions, and provide preliminary guidance. I believe that from the GFBF quarterly grant, we can receive up to $10,000 from the grantor. Since we last spoke, I have had a meeting with Tanya Saeed, the Executive Director of the Muncie Arts and Culture Council, also known as MACC. She is willing to write a letter of support for the pre-grant meeting, in addition to reintroducing me to Dan Riddenhauer at the Mayor's Arts Award ceremony this Friday. At that time, I will request a letter from the mayor advocating that he supports the community arts project for the pre-grant meeting in October. I have also contacted Hunger Skate Parks, and they will be writing a letter of support for the project to the Grant Foundation. In my email exchange with Christy Weisenhan, she recommended I further diversify my community partners to include Pridemark Construction and Rundell Ernstberger Associates, also known as REA. They would assist with the construction and acquiring proper permitting. They are still open to helping with construction, as in Hunger Skate Parks, but we would need to build that into the proposal's pro forma, so like calculating the cost for their transportation, because they do construction all across the Midwest. And I will also be contacting Pridemark and REA before next month's meeting. I'd like to note that next month's board meeting is the day after the pre-grant meeting, so we'll have an update from the pre-grant meeting at the next board meeting. And then I also want to request that Carl Malone attend the pre-grant meeting with the George and Francis Ball Foundation. And in the last month's board meeting, the Parks Board concluded that for the grants on this project, the Parks and Rec Department would be the grantee, and I am the underwriter for the grant application. To summarize, I will be attending the pre-grant meeting with letters of support from you guys, the Parks Board, Muncie Arts and Culture Council, Magic's Makerspace, Hunger Skate Parks, and potentially the Mayor of Muncie, REA, and Pridemark Construction. Due to the tone of the project's grant application, I am interested in contacting Laura Kaya Kendall, the director of the School of Art at Ball State University, to potentially request a letter of support for the project and possible partnership with the MACC and the Parks Department for programming support after the project's installation. Shannon Powers, I know you are a professor at Ball State University, and I would greatly appreciate feedback regarding Ball State University and attaining a letter from them from the Arts Department. And then before I conclude, I do think it's pivotal that we discuss the partnership with the Muncie Arts and Culture Council. The director, Tanya Saeed, gave me the impression during our meeting that they are interested in supporting the facilitation of promotional programming and event coordination. I believe it is essential for long-term success that Ball State participate in the partnership for curating engagement and volunteers for programming. However, she believes that the Parks Department should be responsible for enforcing the code of conduct for the graffiti wall by painting over any violations of the painting code of conduct, which is the wall's set of rules. And then could I get the Parks Board's thoughts on the partnership dynamics that I just reviewed? And that's everything I have.
Comments, questions from the board? Sounds like you're headed down the right avenues for gaining some additional support there. Optimistic that you may find some grant funding there. I think everything that you've kind of summarized falls within what I would expect on how the operation. I assume you've been working with Carl. I know he's been integral in this as well. So.
Yeah, I think if that organization, with the, it's not George and Francis, who are you talking to again?
Yes.
It's George and Francis?
It's George and Francis
Okay.
Ball Foundation.
Yeah, I would just say that, talk about how the graffiti wall will help children, or youth.
Yeah, and
That's the focus.
with that's being the underlying focus of the grant proposal is youth engagement. That's why I really do think it's important that we incorporate maybe the School of Art, and that they're aware that this is a project that we're trying to get done, because I think the students at Ball State could potentially be a source for volunteers for running the events that could be held with this legal graffiti wall. In addition to Ball State, though, I think the Muncie K through 12 schools could be also potential resource and partner for facilitating activity at the graffiti wall that's kind of more planned and curated, and also to target that youth audience here in Muncie, because without that kind of connection, I think it'll be a little challenging to actually connect with the K through 12 age range here in Muncie.
Okay.
Do you guys have any maybe advice on who I should contact from the Muncie, Muncie Central School District, or?
I would say Rose Selvey.
Okay,
City
Rose Selvey.
Council.
Okay.
Yes. Any other questions or comments from the board? Thank you, Caleb.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
Appreciate it. Before we go into programming, I am going to kind of add on or follow up with Carl's report there. I did talk to Flatland Resources this week to get some update on some open projects that they've got.
Yeah.
One of which was the pond at Tillotson. They are planning winter work to start, and they're looking at a late summer, fall 26 completion on that project as their target. Also had some discussion, I think last month or the month before, Carl, you brought up the West Side Park, the basketball courts there. Flatland is partnering with that on the permitting for that because it isn't a floodway. That permitting can take some time, and once the permit's awarded, it's good for 2 years. So we've got some timeline on that. They do not expect any issues because it's a replace like in kind, but something they wanted to get ahead of before that became critical.
So that's for the bathroom
For the basketball court resurface that we
basketball.
talked about. So any
at West Side?
Correct.
Okay. What about the bathrooms? I don't mean to get off topic.
I don't
At West
have any
Side?
update. I know that's been something, Carl, you've talked about a couple times.
Which ones?
West Side.
Yes, we're fine. We've had some major work done.
Okay, okay,
We replaced the whole complete line. And then we
Okay.
also had some work done today to kind of clear out between the main and the
okay,
There was a definite major overhaul
yeah,
in what we had. The whole sewer line has been totally.
okay.
Thank you. Anybody that might not have heard that or those listening at home, West Side bathroom has been worked on and in good condition at this time. David did also mirror Carl's comments on the Riverview and Thomas that they're expected to be done by wintertime. And those were the updates from Flatland on the open items there.
Carl, can I ask you a question? Who does the winterizing of the locker rooms and concessions at Tui Pool? Is it our staff?
It is, yeah, right, currently it's Muncie Park's
Okay.
staff.
Okay,
And that's just how it's been over the years. It's
Yeah.
just that we've
Okay.
kind of held part of the winterization piece, and so that's been us.
okay. Will the lounge chairs, those chase lounges, will those be put back in?
Yes, yeah, I saw they had lined those up along the lockers wall there. And so next week when Chris returns, we're going to go in and start putting everything up.
Sounds good.
Take the shade structures down, all that good stuff.
Thank you, Carl. Any other questions for Carl while we got him here?
Yeah, I have one. On the winterizing of the pool at Dewey,
Yes,
the draining and winterizing, is it just blowing out of lines? Or-
yes, it's blowing out of the baby small pool, and then also the actual big pool itself.
Is this something the Parks Department could do to save money?
No. You gotta, it's certain things they have to be done, has to be trained, has to be done the right way to make sure you got all the water complete out of the lines. And so, now whatever training that would take to have the people trained, we can look into that. But traditionally has been partnership between Muncie Pools and Bud and Bond.
So if when the Buddenbaum and Moore winterize, if they don't get all the water out and we get pipe bust, are they responsible for the repairs?
We've never had a problem with anything busting or anything like that with the water lines.
Okay.
Thank you, Jim.
And, but this contract has been in place for, 5 years. I know that's who we had when I started.
Any other questions for Carl?
I know we were seeking a quote from them for some work. Any news on that quote?
Yeah, we still hadn't received any work for an overhaul of our pool. Our pool's 20-plus years old, and our system is outdated to a point where we got a lot of turning, we have a lot of valves, and so we're doing quite a bit of twisting and turning of the pipes, and we don't have, it's out in inclement weather, we don't have it covered up, and that's a problem too. But it's so automated what they got out there and some of the other parks and around the state. It's more push button type of system, so.
Did they give us a timeline on when we'd get that quote?
We
No?
can try to follow back up
Okay.
and see this week, maybe. I can try to check with Jared and see. But I know it was right at 200-some thousand the last time I spoke with him about overhauling the pool itself.
Okay. Could we get did he give us anything on paper?
Not at this time.
Okay,
It was a phone conversation, so. And we can try to get something in writing that gives, the mayor wants us to have
Yeah.
something in writing so we can kind of look at how to get in some funds to help go towards that cost.
Thank
That
you.
pool's been in place for quite some time, and so when you look at the life warranty, I think it's only 15 years that they put in place with replacing of the pool itself.
Any other questions for Carl?
no?
Next on the agenda, we've got parks programming.
Yes, I'm speaking on behalf of Mark. First on the program list, we have a little information on the police and fire softball game there at McCullum. It was nice, weather was nice. I was there to assist with power, and also was there to kind of watch the game and cheer on both organizations. So it was a good event. It was attended, had some nice crowd. Everybody seemed to enjoy it. So it's good community service softball game. And then next what we have is Barn Academy. Barn Academy has been working with parks for the past 2 to 3 to 4 years on park clinics, baseball clinics, softball clinics, and then just some general softball. And I know Mark and Randy has been meeting to talk about ongoing partnership with Muncie Parks and programming. So they're looking to do a fall softball league, excuse me. And they're in discussion to work out all the logistics to this fall softball league there at Gamers Fieldhouse. Then next, what we have is Trunk or Treat, and Nikki and Dee Dee has been working with all the partners such as Walmart and other vendors to get things involved. And that date before you is October 25th, Heacon Park, and it's from 6 o'clock to 8.
Any other programming questions?
Do you need volunteers to help with?
Yes, I would say so, because we've had popcorn, give out whatnot, and candy can always,
We have,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
We have a post on our Facebook page that has a link to, Cognito form, so if you want to either volunteer to help with setup, volunteer to, help out during the event, whether it be handing out the meals or anything like that, if you want to have a car or truck, if you want to just sponsor by either giving a donation for candy, or if you want to just drop off candy at our office or at the
Okay.
Boys and Girls Club, there's a link that you can sign up for that.
Okay,
I will repost it
Yeah,
tomorrow morning.
okay.
But we definitely need volunteers for the day of.
okay, I'll get you
Thank you, Nikki.
college students.
yeah, Boss Ace came out in the past and done a real good job. It's quite a few people out, so
Yeah, I know.
use all the volunteers.
Any other programming questions? Do we have any event approvals?
I do have, start out first with, we have the traditional Juneteenth. Is there anybody here from Juneteenth? But they always come before the board every year. I think they just want to secure their dates,
Okay,
which is June 20th, 2026. And then they do have security by Legacy Life Security Company. They are requesting Nikki, did it come through? Is this your number right here at the bottom? Okay, so they did come in.
Board wanted to
Yeah.
know what it came.
So we are looking at what they're requesting, which is the cabin, bleachers, large stage, tent, 40 pots, horses, and additional trash cans. So the total fees that we are looking at right now is right around $882. I know they've gotten donations from people from the community. I think the mayor's helped them out from time to time. And so we're hoping that that will be some accommodation on their event. It's been a nice event over the years. We haven't had any problems with the crowd control or anything like that. It's just really been a matter of being able to accommodate them for per their requests. Again, that date is June 20th, 2026 at McCullough Park. And then I think that's really about it. They have some other information in here that's just logistic stuff, but we've always had this event at McCullough
Yeah.
every year.
Will there be live music?
They had bands in the past. They've had a couple of bands. So the deal with the bands is the tremendous cost is to those generators. The generator cost is a lot of times if you don't have the proper generator, then it can be some issues with the power source. But you're talking $1,500 per the weekend to rent one of those nice sized generators.
Any questions on the Juneteenth event? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
All right, and the next event I have is the Heacon Park Open Men's Basketball Tournament with Zion Strong. Zion is here in the audience. The mayor had asked me this summer to go out and take part, kind of fill in for himself. That was the same weekend as Ironman, and so I had a chance to hang out all weekend and just kind of have my eyes on the tournament itself, the crowd control, any issues that we foresee that might have took place. And it was a really great weekend. The community was really happy to feel good about being able to come out to our park again and see some open basketball. We had a very diverse group in the stands as well as on the court. It was really put on well by Zion, but I let him come up and speak about the tournament himself since he's here. So I'd ask Mr. Strong come up.
Thank you, Carl.
Good evening, board. It's a pleasure to see you again,
Hi.
as I was here about a couple months ago. First off, I want to just thank Mr. Malone for all his help that he has helped us with our past events. It's been really great to see. Like he said, last July, we ended up hosting a basketball tournament over at Heacon Park where it was very successful. 2 weeks later, we actually collaborated with the Black Expo and hosted their basketball tournament as well too. So it was just great to see. But yeah, anyways, for the Summer Showdown next year, we plan on doing it July 24th or 23rd through 26th, back again at Heacon Park. This year again, we just want to show to aspire, overcome, and persevere. As will be our logo, our motto for the whole weekend. We do plan on, I just got off the phone with a couple of really great athletes, so there will be professional athletes coming back down to Muncie. We'll be having another event like during the tournament called Battle of the DJs. So, I mean, it's going to be more than just a basketball tournament. It's going to be an entertainment place as well, too. We plan on having security as well out there. We plan on making sure, again, no alcohol, no guns, anything like that. You're going to be kicked out of the park. And yeah, that's pretty much all that we have right now. So, any questions?
Any questions for Zion?
What date is this?
July 23rd through 26th,
Okay.
2026.
Okay.
Jim?
Do you guys provide a liability certificate to the parks?
Yes, sir, we do.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mr. Strong? Did you get Carl out on the court?
I wish. But he was out there, I mean, he was doing everything he could, and we really appreciate it, seriously.
What are you doing at Boys and Girls Club?
So yeah, this Sunday, we actually have another event going on. It's gonna be the first, women's and men's basketball league going on for 6 weeks. Got a lot of Ball State kids coming out as well too. People in the community, teams coming from Newcastle, Fort Wayne, all that stuff. So it's gonna be a great opportunity to just come join. So we'd love for you all to join us.
Can you talk to us a little bit about Marwin Strong Park?
Yes,
and
ma'am, of
Kind of that
course.
concept?
Of course. So, so basically, my not-for-profit Superior Inc., we are working on a park here in the Muncie Housing Authority in the Millenniums. And basically, Ms. Curtissa, the CEO of the Muncie Housing Authority, had basically told us like she would love for this park to be renamed and called the Marwin Strong Park, and for honoring my father, since this is where he started his career at, with the Muncie Housing Authority. So we're pretty much working with that. I had a couple of big major meetings this week to be able to get all the things together, where we're planning on renovating the full basketball court, placing new concrete on the court, also redoing the parking lot as well too, and also putting a new mural up on the walls, as there's a lot of graffiti and stuff like that over there. But we see it more than just being a park. We see it to be have health and wellness, nutrition shops, host basketball events, hold different basketball tournaments, financial literacy classes, all that good stuff out there. So that's pretty much it.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Of course, of course.
So it's not on park property, it's on Muncie Housing Authority,
Yes, ma'am.
Millennium?
It's on Muncie Housing
Okay.
Authority.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Thank you. You all have a blessed day now.
Can I ask him one more question?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Do you have a 501c3?
Yes, ma'am, I
Okay.
do. I do have a 501c3.
Any other questions? If not, entertain a motion to approve.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you, Zion.
Thank you.
And I also have one more application, and it's from Ms. Mitchell, the G, JLG. Let me speak up. This is another application on file for a memory walk at McCullough Park, near the hill, October 11th, 2025. It's a 5K walk, and they're asking for the support from the park to have this event. And they're not asking for anything other than the awareness and the dates. The time is from 9 a.m. to noon. They're at McCullough Park at the bottom of the hill. There's no other vendors, no sponsors, anything that, no health information, anything like that. Just being able to have the park for that event, for that 5K walk.
What park is that again?
McCullough?
Okay.
They've had that out there before, haven't they?
Yes,
No issues that you know of?
no issues.
No other conflicts on that date?
Nikki, it's on the 11th. I don't think we have any other. Yeah. She keeps her wall pretty up to date with,
Nikki keeps
with-
it pretty tight.
yeah, with
Yeah.
with things on there, so.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, entertain a motion to approve.
and-
So moved.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Hi,
Hi.
thanks. I'm Devin Mitchell. I own Grateful Pathways here in Muncie. I also am the pastor of Deliverance Temple, Muncie, with my husband, Andre Mitchell. My godson committed suicide 2023. He was a football player at Yorktown High School. He owned JLG Lawn Care. His parents are Doug and Krista Garrett in Muncie.
Yeah.
We've had several fundraisers, several things in the community, but this time we wanted just to honor, just come out, do your 5K. We said strive for strength. and bring awareness to suicide prevention. And we will have people there to talk and fellowship, and we plan on being there a couple hours and getting out the way. So thanks. for
Thank
letting
you
me-
very much.
Do you have any flyers?
I do. I did not put them
Bring
out
'em?
because
Okay.
we haven't had this yet.
Yeah.
But I do have it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we got a motion. and-
Absolutely,
Need a
yeah.
second?
Second?
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Any other events, Carl?
No, what I do have though, Brad, is the 3 parks that we had IU Health do some work on. Some of the things that we wanted to get done was the removal of some old rubber mulch that we had and then replace it with new mulch, not knowing the cost. So I had CRG go ahead and just give us a rundown on the cost. And I just wanted to share it with the board, just so everybody understands the cost associated with mulch. And so at Thomas Park, we have proposed for right at about $9,000, It's $8,686 for mulching of Thomas Park. And then West Side Park, we have $16,076 for the completion of full mulch at West Side Park. And then at Alshire, 11,000. So in the past, we've tried to remove money out of our line item and do some of the parks. I think we did West Side, we've done Heacon, maybe a couple more, but it's expensive. It's not cheap. The other option is to go with the synthetic rubber. It's a little more expensive, but it's everlasting for years to come. And so I know it's a little short notice for this year, but maybe it's something we can look at long term is what it would cost to replace rubber mulch in some of our bigger parks for sure. So I just wanted to put that out there to the board.
Thank you, Carl.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we've got the Prairie Creek report with Missy Raines.
Good evening, board. Good evening, everyone. I actually have some additional events that I would like to discuss. Would you guys like me to bring those up before the report or after?
Let's go ahead and get the events first. Let's get those checked off the list.
Sounds like a plan. So we have Kyle Freeman with the Prairie Creek Catfish Club, who is hoping to get an event approved for September 27th from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's a family catfish tournament with free food and prizes to win from the sponsors. They expect 50 people. For this event, they have said that security would not be needed. They will not have any vendors. Trash cans are one of the only things that they have requested. And they do have insurance as well. This is an event, Kyle Freeman and the Prairie Creek Catfish Club pretty frequently have hosted events here in the past. But this is one of the first events that I have for you guys.
Do these folks pay a boat launch fee? Is that what that's called?
Yes.
Yes, all the boats that go in the water have a launch fee, and they would fall under the event fee pricing that we've got as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to come up so we can, I know you're probably loud enough, but Nikki has to go back and watch it later, so. Welcome, Kyle.
Thank you. So we're trying something new, trying to get the kids out, get off video games, stuff, come out, have fun, do some fishing. Everybody does pay their bait permits. They do pay their boat permits. We follow by the law. We clean up our trash. We've done small tournaments by ourselves, not very big, maybe 10 groups, you know what I mean? This is our biggest one. Right now I have 11 sponsors, and it's still going.
Great.
We're trying to make it where all the kids that show will have something to win. What we do is when the parents pay in, we will give them an extra ticket for each kid that's in the group. And at the end of the weigh-in and everybody wins their prizes and stuff, we will pull tickets for the kids so they can win prizes or money or whatever for the kids. We have 3 families that donated chili. And I also have Osborne Country Chicken and Iceberg. They have donated loaves of bread with peanut butter on it for the chili. So we're just trying to get some family time out before the winter hits, enjoy ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're trying to do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Any questions for Kyle while we got him here?
I do have a question for you guys though.
Absolutely.
So I have had a couple of gentlemen ask me, because they bank fish, they wanted to know, is there a way that like we could do away from the bank permits, because there's really not a lot of room for them to fish. When I first started, I had probably 10 groups of bank. I'm down to like 5 because there's no place to hardly fish anymore, especially since you can't fish on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And it's grown over. I mean, you literally have to squeeze your way through to the reservoir to fish over. You ain't got a boat, you're pretty much tough luck, you know what I mean?
Rate reviews are something that we're talking about today further down in the meeting. So I guess that's maybe the best answer I can give you right now. But
Okay. Thank you.
certainly, as we continue to work with the water company, bank fishing has been one that's came up multiple times, and that's something that we can hope to see where there may be opportunities to enhance that for you guys that are looking at that. I'm always looking for more activities and more
Yeah.
ways to engage out there.
Because I'd like to do more family tournaments next year if this comes out to be a big turnout. Because this is catfishing, even though I'm a catfish group, we know reservoirs full of carp. We thought about even doing a carp tournament because there's some big carp out there. So, and I'd love to see some of those kids get into some of those big carp out there.
Yep.
So, thank you guys.
Thank you, Kyle. Any other questions? Not entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Alrighty, our next event for approval is for the same day, September 27th at 8 p.m. It is the Just Jeeping Delaware County Jeep Club in partnership with Prairie Creek. They are wanting to host a movie night for the kiddos and family that are in the campground. They are hoping to serve hot dogs and chips while supplies last, and it's a bring your own chair and blanket event. Do you guys have any other questions about attendance or the numbers or additional information that I can pass along to the Jeep Club?
Where is it?
This is going to be in the Prairie Creek Reservoir Campground by the community building.
Is this planned to be an open event or primarily for the campground?
Primarily for the campground, yes.
Did they have an expected turnout number on there?
As of this
Ballpark?
point, no. I don't foresee it being more than 50.
Okay. Any other questions? I know the Jeep Club has been active and want to continue to be active out there in events.
Mhm.
So, what was the time on that? I got the 27th,
Yeah.
but I didn't write the time down.
Yes, 8 p.m.
Okay.
Till probably 10 or 11, I'd guess. Any other questions? If not, entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
Awesome. The Friends of Prairie Creek and the Jeep Club are collaborating for this other event, occurring on October 18th, 2025 is the hope, from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. in the campground. This would be a Halloween bash. They're hoping to organize a decorating campsite contest, trick-or-treating from 6 to 8 p.m., and a Halloween dance at the community building from 8 to 10 p.m. For the kiddos in the campground, as well as a hayride that we are trying to get organized as well, from 6 to 8 p.m. I know that we have the Friends of Prairie Creek president here with us tonight too. If we need additional information from her as well. This is targeted specifically for the campers in the campground and the families and friends of the campers. So this is not necessarily an advertised public event, but is intended to be for the folks in the campground. Campground security will be on site this night. For the materials or any thing requested for Prairie Creek, the hayride is something that we are trying to get squared away and figured out for that, provided by Prairie Creek Reservoir. And then the community building for that dance that night is the only other resource that they would be utilizing, I believe.
What night again is this?
This is October 18th from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Any questions regarding the Halloween event? If not, entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Wonderful. We have, our next two events are from the same individual or an organization, from the Ruble Racing. They have an event request for May 17th, 2026 at 8 a.m. The purpose of the event, there's a sprint and an Olympic triathlon. They anticipate 300 to 500 folks to attend. The security will be the Delaware County Sheriff's Department. They will not be having vendors at that time. They don't need materials from us outside of maintenance to the beach and parking lot, and more utility-focused items, such as making sure that areas are mowed and the beach house bathrooms are accessible. They have paid for their event fee and they have insurance attached.
Okay, good.
They have this particular event, which will be May 17th. And then they also have another event as well at a later date. I can read that one off whenever you guys would like me to do so.
Yeah, you can read the date for that one as well.
All right, the next one from Ruble will be September 27th, 2026 at 9 a.m. It is also a sprint and Olympic triathlon. Similar attendance, 300 to 500 individuals. The Delaware County Sheriff Department will also be the security for that. The same additional materials or resources needed as the last event, which is the beach and parking lot raked, the grass in the transition area kept up with in preparation for the event, and access to the restrooms with the same insurance as well.
He's ran races out there before
Correct.
for several years, so.
I don't know the Ironman date offhand, do you?
I do
I
not.
assume that's not a conflict, but that'd be the only.
I can follow up with that and verify. At this time, I do not know what the next Ironman date will be.
I mean, that's typically later in the summer.
Seems like it was July, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Usually July
So
or
it
early August, I think, yeah.
looks
Yeah.
like we're on both sides, but that'd be the only one to confirm, so.
Outside of the two Ruble Racing applications, I believe that that is the last of the event approvals that I have with me today.
Any questions?
On the last event,
Yep,
we're discussing event fee changes.
that is exactly.
So
what-
I would like to, if we're gonna vote to approve or deny this today, we approve it with 2026 pricing.
I would agree with that,
It's a good
since we've not established our 26 pricing yet.
Question I had about the mowing and the grass.
Yes.
May 17th, a lot of times can be pretty wet, and sometimes the grass can kind of get a little bit out of hand. Is there a contingency plan in case that happens, or I know the Parks Department does the best it can, but weather is a big factor then.
Yes, so typically with events like this, as long as I've been in the picture for, we have tried to anticipate, I guess, utility that would be outside of normal bounds in advance. This is something that for this event, I can try to ensure that several weeks before we get special attention to this area. I know that around this time too, the parking lot might need some more TLC after winter activities. I know folks like to drive quite quickly in that parking lot. So it might need some other TLC at that time. I don't know if at this point in time, I don't think that I will be in the picture for this day on behalf of Prairie Creek, but I can, in my continuation guide for the operation manager, I will make note of this.
Thank you. Any other questions?
The Ironman 2026 is July 11th is when registration?
Excellent. Thanks, Jim. I know with the mowing too, some of these special events, we've tried to keep everything in-house. I know Carl's provided some additional support as needed. And I think then third choice is we've got some external contractors that we've called in some emergency situations as well. So I think that's within our scope. So. Any other questions regarding the 2 Ruble events in 26? If not, I entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Alrighty, shall I proceed with the Prairie Creek report?
Yes, please.
Wonderful. So as you know, the recreation season is winding down, and so are many of the obligations that come with the summer season and the recreation season, such as mowing. That has been something that on our plates on a weekly basis has taken up a lot of time and a lot of labor, as well as spot treating areas that need weed eating and so on and so forth. With the lack of rain, this has been something that we have been able to utilize that time and the resources and the folks who typically handle that mowing to handle some other side projects. Some of those have been giving some TLC to some of the cabins and the shelters on property, some basic maintenance and repairs with more plans for that to come. We have also had our utility team removing an old dock that was reported. The water levels have dropped some, and by the beach near the handicap pier, one of the docks over in that direction, there was an old dock from years previous that was underwater. So we had our team go in and remove 2 sections of that. That has been tackled and it has been removed. We've gotten some reports to the office about docks and things of that nature and the water level dropping as we've not had the rain. So this is something that we've been keeping an eye on as things have progressed. Our beach has closed down since September 1st after the holiday weekend. So we have begun the deep cleaning process and trying to get things squared away for the next season. We have also had a lot of inspections lately, one from the Indiana Department of Health and one from the Indiana Department of Environmental Management. And with the reports that have come from that, a lot of our folks have been focused on repairing or giving attention to the things that were cited in those reports. Security pros and the security installation system at the North Shore Campground bathrooms was something else that I wanted to touch on and provide some updates for. As of this point in time, the lock portion of the doors have been installed at the North Shore Campground restroom. There were some growing pains with that installation, but we have come up with a temporary solution in the meantime to prevent further issues while they are waiting for the other installments of their plan. So there is a scheduled training for how to utilize the system and navigate it that managers and staff responsible will be getting trained on in the next week or so. Verizon is also going to be installing a cradle point system at these restrooms that will allow the rest of the system to operate and be reliable. And then there is the actual installation of the rest of the hardware and the pieces and parts that is still upcoming and should be tackled within the next several weeks. This is contingent upon Verizon and the installation of the cradle point. With that, I have a lot of our logistical updates tackled. I do have some notes about the Frisbee area by where the old playground was located. This is, I believe it's south of the South Shore Campground, between the South Shore Campground and the boat launch, which has seen some TLC while the campgrounds and other locations have not been the priority for mowing with the lack of rain and the lack of attention that we've needed to address those issues. We've been able to give some other parts of the property some well-needed lawn care. So if you drive by, that is something that you might notice that's pretty blatant that we have been able to tackle. We're also tackling some of the overgrowth on some of the trails and equipment in that area too. Outside of that, some updates for this next month or so that we foresee being in the equation on top of events and preparations for that. The operation manager will be back within this next week or so. So we'll be starting off the handoff of a lot of the information that I have gathered, a lot of the decisions I've been a part of, and a lot of the information I've gathered, plain and simple, regarding operations in the past several months and my take and input on how I foresee some things going in the next several months and recommendations as well. So that will be something that the office will be busy doing. As well as planning for October with the dock removals and getting a plan together for that. Besides that, those are a lot of the larger updates that I have to share with you all. Do you guys have any questions?
Any questions for Misty?
Yes.
Jim?
So do you have a plan for dock removal this year?
That is something that Carl and I are working on and trying to get a handle of. I myself have not been in the equation before when docks have been removed, so this is something that we are actively working on.
So we're not going to leave any of the wooden docks in, correct?
I do not believe so at this time. Carl, do you have anything else to add?
They will be.
They will be? All right. I'll turn over the microphone.
Thanks for asking. We just had a conversation today in reference to the removal of the docks. And so in speaking with some of the Sailboat folks, they had talked about giving us some training, some insight, some expertise. We're primarily a new team. We got some individuals out Prairie Creek that's only been on the job a couple months, and we have a couple that's been out there and removed them before. And then, of course, our team is new, and so we anticipate some training coming, and then we have a plan in place to remove. But all the wooden docks will be removed. What we came into this year, I will tell you that the wooden docks were not removed. Several of the docks are down in the water, had to be retrieved. A lot of the wooden docks were left out along the bank shore. Majority of them were left out in the bank shore. Nothing was removed into the building to be repaired, restored, painted, and then been in place for us to put back out. So going in, we know those things need to be taken care of for next season.
What about the vinyl docks? Will those be removed?
Yeah,
from the water?
they just move those over to a certain area of the reservoir. I don't think it's the south, maybe south end, but those are all moved over to a certain area.
The floating docks will be moved?
Yeah, they'll just be.
Last year, they floated all over the lake.
Yeah. Oh,
Is there any way we can just pull them up on the beach?
Yeah.
Well, like I say, once we have our training, we plan on having all those things in place, all those questions asked, and then we'll see what the training allows us to do. And there were some that floated. I agree. I did see some that floated.
Well, and it caused damage to some of them, so
Yeah.
we need to learn from that mistake.
Yeah. Correct. So, but I'll keep the board updated on the removal as we start setting up training stuff for our staff for us to go ahead and meet the date of that removal from the docks.
Thank you, Carl.
Thanks.
I know we had some, this might be a question for you too, Carl. Had some turnover out there in full-time staffing and maintenance staffing.
Yeah.
Have we been able to get those filled, or how do we look staffing and?
We are still in the
labor-wise?
interviewing process. We are still in the process of filling some of those spots. And we plan on getting those interviews completed in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
But right now, we have to go with who we have and what we have, and the goal is to have our staff trained, the folks out there trained, and us tackle what we have to tackle and figure it out as we go.
What positions are you hiring for?
The utility, ground utilities, I think there's 2, and then maybe 1 part-time.
Correct.
So,
I know you guys did a good job last year focusing on the safety of those guys and making sure they had the right resources and equipment to be doing the jobs they were doing. So we just need to make sure we follow through with that again this year with the turnover and the new labor out there. Make sure those guys are trained and working safe as possible.
Yeah, correct. I agree, Brad.
Any other questions for Misty or Carl?
Misty, when did you say the security will be complete on the doors of the bathroom?
Yes, so we anticipate it being within the next several weeks. It's contingent on the Verizon Cradle Point installation. So working with security pros and trying to procure this Cradle Point system, which would host a lot of the Wi-Fi and connection for their security system. It's kind of contingent on Verizon. I can reach out tomorrow and get a closer estimate on the date for that, and then the rest should follow very shortly. That is the one thing that Security Pros is waiting for, is the Cradle Point installation.
Okay.
Jim, you got another one too?
Yeah, the boat that they purchased to pull these docks around, is it running now?
Yes. And so it's a pontoon boat. We've used it to do maintenance on the reservoir itself. And whether or not that's the size and the strength of the motor to pull other boats in and around, that's for the folks to determine. But I think we've used it somewhat in the water to pull to do our work as far as the docks and things of that nature. But as far as can they pull something of a large size, really don't have an answer for that. I don't know.
All right, and just a side note, last year, the guys working on that were wearing waders with no life jackets on the boats.
Okay,
And they need to be in life jackets because those waders will drown them in a heartbeat.
okay. Thank you. I'm glad you brought that up.
Thank you, Jim.
Have we received any news or any kind of communications from the water company recently?
No, we haven't not. Nothing to my knowledge, other than we're just going to keep trying to be proactive is what I'm hearing. Just trying to be proactive as much as we can I know we had some maintenance on the trails. I was on a group walk with Flatland and individuals from the water company, and that was one of the concerns was to clear out and get some of the brush and stuff out of the way on the trail. So I am aware of that, but other than that, nothing's been concrete as far as timeline on any issues as far as campground and boats.
Okay.
Any other questions for Misty or Carl? All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Next, we will move into the Friends of Prairie Creek. I see we've got the president here today.
Hello, Charlene Moore, Friends of Prairie Creek. So we started out with a really beautiful multicolored stuffed fish to hide for the campground kids to hunt for to get a prize at the boat launch or to the office. He got hid, and I believe he was found but never returned. So we have decided on the paper fish. So we have all different colors of fish. We have on Freddy the Fish. If you find me, bring me to the main office or to the boat launch, and you will get a prize. So we have all different colors of them laminated in the office. So if one gets lost, we can pull another one out. So, and I think it was Natalie, we might put a little hole in him and put a little string where we can hang him around on the bushes or on the swing sets or something, just so some of the kids can find him. So we do have that getting ready to start next weekend, because for the last 2 weeks, we were hoping the other fish would get turned back in, but I didn't really want to go on a hiatus of missing fish posters all throughout the campground and everything for him. So that's going to start. Several campers have came to really wanting to help with the campground and the reservoir trying to think of ideas of, since if we do downsize on campers and pontoons and stuff, to try to help think of ideas for the reservoir to make some more money. So some of those ideas I just thought I'd bring to you guys because they wanted it to be said, but boat storage, like for our pontoons, if we have a campsite, they had a suggestion, like if campers do have a campsite, that they have plenty of room to be able to store their pontoon in front of their camper for a, an added fee to store their pontoon in front of their camper, or even in the overflow of the campground if they don't have enough room in front of their camper. Would that be an option of where they can store their pontoons and pay an extra fee with their campsite fee too, to help keep money coming in? Because we know when campsites go down, money's going to go down coming into the reservoir. They came up with that idea. That would be kind of a good idea to do or think about. And everybody's that I've been talking to in the last couple of days, they're all willing to do fundraisers or anything to kind of help, even to help, like if there's a fundraiser for the store or the sewage thing cost, to try to help with that. They're trying to rack their minds to try, because they don't want to see the campground to be closed. They want to see the campground going because they love it. We all love it out there. So now I think everybody's kind of banding together to try to, what solutions can we all do to help with the park board and the reservoir to figure out a solution to keep everything going smoothly without any more agitation or arguments about it or anything. So seems like a lot of people are trying to really kind of figure out or resolve a solution to try to help. So I just thought I'd let you know, everybody's kind of, that I've been talking to, is willing to help more than anything and trying to come up with solutions. I actually thought the boat storage was a great idea. I'd love to just park my boat and cover it up right there at my campsite too. It'd be a nice opportunity. Some people were asking me about, could the gates be closed at night? Had an incident on Labor Day weekend with a car crashing. So once again, the speed bumps got brought back up, because if speed bumps would have been there, they probably wouldn't have been speeding around that outside road. So I just thought I'd let you know they're still talking about them speed bumps, because they think that would have probably deferred the speed of the car that came in there. It wasn't a camper, it was an outside person from just coming in, going around the camper. So
I thought the gates were closed at night. Or-
are they closing at night?
No.
No. I haven't seen, have you guys seen them closed?
No.
Yeah, yeah, when they drove over it. Yeah, I haven't seen the gates closed that was the thing, if the gates could be closed at 11, because I think that incident was after midnight or something when that incident happened. So that kind of keeps people from driving in and going through the campground after 11. I mean, it happens. If you have a relative or a friend that comes in at 11, I usually go to the gate and meet them and open the gate and bring them in, but
Yeah,
that kinda-
Misty, that's one we can add to your list. Check functionality of those gates. I know we had one of them got hit. I thought it was repaired, but then I think it might have got hit or damaged again, and I'm not sure where the functionality is. So I don't know that, unless you got an update today, I'm not going to put you on the spot for that.
No, I can still give you guys the information I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Regarding it. So when I entered into the picture at Prairie Creek mid-July, that was one of the things I had first noticed and asked questions about. It is my understanding that before I entered into the picture, there had been a vehicle that had ran into it at a prior point. And since then, the functionality of that gate was not, it is not usable and not operational at this point in time. I myself have not reached out for a quote for the repair of this gate, because I was told that it had been done previous to me entering into the picture, and it sounded like it was a large sum to get repaired. I can reach out and gather quotes too, since I don't have access to those records, and I can see what can be done for that, but at this time, I do not believe that they are able to function.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Also, another idea on the gates was, since we do have the metal gates that's out there right now that they use the chain and lock on, what, I believe it was, is there a way, can those shut where there's a clasp where you just can manually open and shut it with our hand and not have to worry about a sensor or anything? At least if a gate was shut, that, there's a class that we could unlock it, or, just kind of like a wood fence class, what I'm talking about, where you can click it open if you need to manually. You would have to get out of your car and open it. If it's if it's someone out of the campground that's just wanting to cruise through the campground, I don't think they're going to want to hop out their car, open the gate, go through, and then have to hop back out and open another gate. But if security is like out there, like around that time when they're leaving, they could shut that gate around that time when they're exiting the park, and then it's closed. And then, maybe relay to the other campers that the easy way, if you do need to leave, you can manually open it, but shut it back. And I'm pretty sure most of the campers would probably be willing to do that, at least to know that the gate is shut to keep outsiders from coming in throughout the middle of the night.
We'll see where we're at on the
Yeah,
automatic gates, and that may need to be an option that we look at if we can't get a solution there on the automatic gates.
Because that's been about a year, right?
Probably.
yeah, it's been about a year. I think the last time Dustin said he was looking into it and they couldn't get the part or the part that is
I think that
actually-
was Tawny.
Tony, I think everybody's worked on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know one time Dustin said he couldn't, they were waiting, trying to find a part, and then I think Tawny called about it again, and the part they don't make, or a whole different company they would have to go by or something
Okay.
like that.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
Trying to think. Oh, on the Halloween bash, we've kind of decided we're going to be doing the hayride, the trick-or-treating from campsites, and campsites to decorate for Halloween if they would like. And they're working on the hayride. The dance from 8 to 10, I believe we're just going to try to set up some cornholes for the ones that don't want to dance, and maybe line up a set of tables. And we've got a popcorn machine that's going to be there making popcorn for the kids, and we may bring a big screen, one of our big screen TVs from probably my camper, and put a DVD of some Halloween movies for the kids and have music playing for them, and have assorted like cookies, some juice boxes and stuff out for them to just come in after trick-or-treating, hang out with everybody, and hope the parents join in with them and have a good time on that. And I was going to go with real pumpkins because we were going to do like a little pumpkin patch hunt before trick-or-treating and hide pumpkins around the campground for the kids to walk around and find their own pumpkin and then bring it back up to the community building to decorate. I think we're going to go maybe with that, but we're kind of leaning towards a group of us are going to get together to make the small size, like little cement pumpkins and paint them, and then that way it can be something all the campers that have their kids can keep it on hand every year
Excellent.
and decorate their campsite with it or whatever, and let all the kids come and paint it up there by the community building. And I'll be supplying all the paint and stuff. Everything's on top, kid-friendly for them to do. So that's about we were talking about, my husband wants to build a book library for the kids at the park so they can come to the park and read a book at the park, and maybe even put little fun pack activities for the kids to do in it. So we're in the process of making that because he likes to do stuff like that. And he's got all the plexiglass and everything. Once he gets it built, I'll come back at you and let you guys see it. But we kind of think that would be kind of fun for the kids at the park to have little books and maybe little games and stuff put in there for them to play with. But that's about it.
Do you guys have another meeting upcoming?
I think that's October 11th, I believe. I'd have to look on the calendar.
Sounds right. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's October 11th. So, yep, I think that's about all we've had.
Any questions from the board?
And by the way, Mr. Orr, congratulations on the double boy weekend.
Thank you.
Yes.
It was a week we won't forget anytime soon.
Times two.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we've got old business. I'm going to shuffle these around a little bit. I think we already talked about Caleb's items. He didn't have anything else, did he, Carl? Okay. Then we'll do a drill in the pool update. That'll be you,
Yeah,
Shannon.
that was pretty successful, although it was cold. On 2 weeks ago, Saturday, when we had the doggy swim day at Tui, which is kind of like the culminating event for the year, I guess. But we raised about $400 for the parks
Excellent.
programs, so.
Thank you, Shannon. Next, we'll roll into the multi-use trails at Prairie Creek. So we did get formal approval from the water company that they are in support of the extension of the multi-use trails. I had to kind of jog my memory. That was also on my list with Flatland. I couldn't remember how all that funding was being distributed. That is a DNR state 80% matching grant.
Cool.
So 80% of the funds come from the state, roughly $260,000. And the municipality match, which is 20%, came from the Ball Foundation in the amount of $40,000. And then there's some miscellaneous materials and labor that is coming from the city, but there's no general fund dollars or tax dollars or any of our budget dollars going towards that expansion. So that's an ongoing project from several years past that the Ball brothers have been in support of historically, continuing the multi-use trail from the south end, and this will extend it all the way up to the beach house.
What was the length of that? Again, the length?
I don't have that note here.
I forget.
So I know this one's been on the agenda for a while. The board here, we'd kind of been in a stalemate waiting on formal approval from the water company, but that has been passed along. And I wanted to have discussion. And I think the next step is for us to have a vote for that multi-use trail expansion for Flatland to continue work and extend that. Any discussion from the board?
In light of the recent events of closing trails on the other side of the lake, I don't think it's in our best interest to add another trail. At this time, we're looking at budget issues, maintenance issues out there. That's going to cause more issues. It's not fair to the horse group that lost our trails and then us create more trails for somewhere else. I do not support the trail moving on. Even though it's not costing any, it's grant money, but that's not, it's a issue of right or wrong.
Any other comments, discussion from the board? Carl or Misty, you guys got any feedback or discussion on the multi-use trail? No. I think open this one up to Carl, just couldn't contain himself.
Yeah. No, I just want to say that my information that I've gotten was from Dave from Flatlands, and you just shared some of the relationships with Ball and the state DNR. I think this had been in the railway for years to come.
It was, yeah.
And I think we're just getting to a point where they're trying to complete that. So I think if you, just being honest, get all the players to the table and have that discussion, because I think the people who are in place right now, such as myself, Tani, Misty, Nikki, don't have a whole lot of insight on the trail input. But whoever decided that was a good thing should be the ones giving the park board questions about that trail and the purpose of it. That's just my take on it.
Well, Flatland is obviously going to be supportive of it because they're going to profit from this, so.
Right, they're the contracted party. Yep. Any other discussions? I know they also, one of the things that was presented as a draft last month, I believe, unless it was my last month packet, was the multi-use trail maintenance and management plan. It certainly isn't complete or finalized and a lot of unknowns in that plan, but as we move forward with any of our projects, that's certainly something we got to look at and have a plan for long-term maintenance of these items and how do we account for those in the budget. Because they, like Jim said, even though it's no initial cost up front here, it's going to be an ongoing continual cost for us as we maintain and upkeep these amenities that we're adding.
Are we under a deadline to make a decision to retain the grant money?
I do not know that at this time.
I mean, it was extended because of permits and all of that, but yeah, I mean, you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
So, I fully, understand Jim's comments and, agree morally on it, but we've also had discussions of, creating a trail that goes all the way around the park. And that was, a few years ago that we discussed that. So I would like to see, I think if we refuse, if we do not pursue this, that would be like taking one step back on a larger scoped project. And so I would just like to see that continue. Also, I think we might have some kickbacks from the state as well, that us, giving us this money and then them possibly rejecting projects in the future. So that's something also to consider.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with all the details of this grant or this process, but I know some do have a negative score on future applications if you non-completion of projects, but I don't know in this case.
And the reason for my question about the timing, as Parks Board member, I don't feel like I know much about the project, to be honest. We've talked about it forever, but we've never really had a presentation on what it is, what it'll be available for, how long, how it'll be maintained.
It seems like we did have
We
a
did. Yeah, I'm
presentation, but
trying
it
to
was
look for
probably at least a year ago, because it
Okay.
was in the initial.
I think it was less than a year, personally. So I'll look for it while we talk, but yeah. What's that gentleman's name from Flatlands that comes?
David.
Yeah, David has come up here and he gave a presentation about it.
So the multi-purpose trail is similar to, there's existing multi-purpose trail that's on the south end. So it's a stone or lime surface that's multi-use. So it's a walking, biking, hiking, pedestrian trail. Correct, non-motorized. That was scoped in the plan, but I don't remember all the details there, the bridge crossings and the connections all the way up to the beach house. So it kind of feels like we've got a lot of questions on this, and maybe not all the answers at this time.
Okay, yeah, I don't know where that is.
So I think it's probably in our best interest to table this for a future vote, unless there's any objection.
No.
I'll reach out to David, see if we can get a formal presentation at our next meeting, so we can get some questions answered. And if I receive anything in the meantime, I'll be sure to pass that along to the board and relevant parties here.
As part of his presentation, I think maintenance should be a big part of that, because once it's built, we do want to make sure we don't strain our resources
Yep.
beyond what we
get
can
that.
handle.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah, for my conversation with Dave, the day that we walked on the trail, I think the last contract that the city had was 2013 on the maintenance of the trail. That was the last documented piece of document. Dave and I had a conversation, that was a maintenance plan, was 2013.
Are all the trails currently cleaned and,
I do know we're out a little bit right now, starting to do some cleanup. And our role was to coordinate, of course, with the office to see exactly manpower-wise what it's going to take to continue to put the trails in a better place. But I do know that there was a contract signed for the upkeep of the trail.
With whom?
The city of
Okay.
Muncie. 2013 was the last official document that their partnership talked about the trails and the trail maintenance.
I know there's some nonprofits that go out there and clean that trail a couple times. I mean, I know we can't rely on them.
Right, and that's some of what they called out in the proposed management plan is the Mid-Indiana Trails, Indiana Water, Red Tail,
Muncie Clean and Beautiful.
local foundations, you have Clean and Beautiful, and then the parks, obviously. So, I think at this time, we probably need to table that, work on getting some more details for the next meeting and review how the
Yeah.
board proceeds
I agree,
forward.
I agree.
Thank you, Carl. Next on the old business, we've got Prairie Creek rate review. So this is something I know we've talked about the last couple of meetings at least, and seems to be recurring on our annual list. As we know that there's going to be some non-filled spots next year due to attrition at the campground and the ever-increasing costs of operations out there. This is, I think, a critical time to review these. We've made some adjustments in the past 2 to 3 years. And this year, we're looking at a full scope across the board at all the items. The information you guys have got here in front of you, Shannon and I reviewed with Misty. So then we're kind of want to talk through some of these items. And I think there's some that may need adjusted and some that we need to analyze and talk through how we want to present these. I guess I'll open it to discussion from the board here, or where we want to start the conversation.
So do we want to start with docks? Can you explain?
Yeah, so we can just go down the
2020,
list.
yeah.
Start right to left to right. So what we've got there in the first column is the docks. As we know, we've got the wood docks are not on this list because those are pre-existing, those are grandfathered. And I don't know that we've got any initiative to make any changes to those. What is noted here is the float-in piers. I've got a proposal number at $600 for the float-in piers for the 26 season. But with that, we would require the purchase of the annual launch. So traditionally, that's been included in your purchase of the dock. And what I did is I had that at a discounted rate of 70%.
Of the
The public rate.
Right.
I think I would like to look at even reducing that further. I think a 50 or 40% of the public rate would be more of an appropriate number for that.
I think the 40 would be more appropriate, because usually the pontoons only launch once,
Right.
so it's not like they're utilizing the launch ramp
Right.
weekly.
So 40%, I guess while we're talking that, we can say 40% and at least look at that. And once we get to let's jump over to the launch fees, I guess, and we can talk that before we get back to the docks. So launch fees, for this year, 25, daily rate is $15, annual rate is $150, with a discounted rate for boater education courses of $100. The rates you see here that I've proposed is $20 for a daily, $200 for an annual, and then $150 for the annual education rate.
Okay.
Any questions there or discussion on those specific rates?
I'd like to see that daily launch fee go up? Yeah, we need to talk about that too.
What was that?
I'd like to see the daily launch fee go up.
To, what would you like to see that at?
I would like to see it at probably 45.
The Geist weekend rate, last I checked, was $40. So, as a point of reference there, and their weekday rate was $20.
Yeah. I'd also like to see a gate either put on our launches or it's staffed starting at like 7 a.m. in the morning too. And not at noon, you know, especially I think we're losing a lot of money there. So yeah, that's what I would suggest. I think a lot of people up here will pay it because they don't want to go down to Geist. Personally,
I think 30 would be fair.
30.
For a daily rate. And then any adjustments on the annual, or is 200 appropriate on the annual?
I got a question on, how do you obtain the boater education?
It's an online course. I think they used to have some some in-person courses as well. And that discount does require proof of the class. Maybe Misty has some details on that, because she probably gets that question a lot.
So within my first week as the interim operation manager, there was actually a pre-existing course hosted by the Coast Guard Auxiliary where they came out and hosted an in-person training. I have chatted with the individuals who organized that event. I think it was a $10 to $15 amount for the course day of, mainly for the packet material. We got to leave with a booklet. We all completed an exam near the end. It was a several-hour deal, but I received my boater education in the weeks following that. That is something that in the continuation binder that I am building up for the operation manager when she returns, I would like to see more of in the future. The Coast Guard Auxiliary, they have been very forthcoming with wanting to be involved in whatever capacity we would like them to be, whether it's offering more courses like that. They've also offered inspections for boats and vessels with no negatives if you opt in to an inspection, but it's to make sure that your vessel is in good condition and things of that nature. But for that boater education course, I know I myself, when I took it, I think it was only $10 to $15 for the course itself. I can get more information on that as well. I know that I wish that it was more known about. So if that comes from advertising on the Prairie Creek Reservoir page or future conversations with the Coast Guard Auxiliary for in-person classes, if that seems to be something of interest, I can gather more information in preparation for the next board meeting with that, if you would like.
Excellent. Thank you, Misty.
You're very welcome.
Any other questions? Discussion from the board? So here we've got a proposal for $45 for daily, $30 for daily. Any discussion or thoughts on the annual or the discounted rate?
Could we just pilot this year and see if we could get 35 for that daily? Just for a year, just to see if it changes drastically our earnings, our revenue?
We can set the rates whatever we want, and we can adjust them annual at our discretion. So, like I said, current rate is $15. So I know even at 30, we're talking about double in their cost. Which I know it's only $15, but it is double in their cost.
I don't have a strong feeling either way. I could support either 30, 40, or 35. I do think that the idea of having the gates monitored and opening we are about revenue, and if there's people coming before that are just going out, that's lost revenue, and they're getting the benefit that everyone else is paying for. So I'd be very much in favor of that.
Well, I know we've got the Iron Ranger out there, but that's an honor system. As we work through some of the security, I know Misty and I have talked, is one of the things we'd like to see is that we have a camera at the boat ramp, and we'd be able to monitor that on a daily and see, do the launches match the Iron Ranger? Hopefully it's visible enough we can pull either boat or plate numbers and be able to follow up on that. Some people don't know. There are some honest mistakes, but there are some bad apples out there too.
That's something too, management has come up to discuss this as well. Something else that I am hoping to note in the passing of the torch is better signage for our self-registration area, making it more visible, making it more known about, whether that's through posting around the property with even laminated signs as of now saying, oh, this is an opportunity that we have here, but giving some TLC to that physical area in the wintertime as well, repainting, adjusting signage, updating that too. In addition to, I know we've discussed gates tonight, it sounds like, and better security. Something I'm also trying to gauge and see if possible is digital payments as well for that area. That's something that folks have expressed a lot of interest in. As I've been one of the people that have reviewed some of the slips, and some people have written on their only credit card or things of that nature. There, I think, would be incentive enough to come up with a system that can help with payments digitally on the outside for after hours. This is something I myself have not had time to investigate further myself, but it's something I can try to compile some information for the next board meeting too.
Thank you, Miss.
What do you call that system? An Iron
Ranger.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a box you put the money in.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So it's pretty
I
common
didn't know
around
this.
other park systems.
I didn't know the name of that. Okay.
Question.
Yeah.
Do other lakes have do they open and close? Like, is there a close at the ramps? Or can you get on the water 24 hours a day at all of them?
I know most of the state facilities you can get on, but they require different permitting. I don't know of any, I don't have experience with any other similar lakes to the way we operate. Most of those are state facilities that require a state permit. That's essentially what this is you can buy the annual permit. The annual permit's $200 or $150.25, and we're proposing a $200 annual fee. I think most of the state parks also have a day launch, but I don't know how that works or what the after-hours structure is on that. You know.
Well, that might just start discouraging some wake boats.
I would be surprised, but we can hope. I mean, I certainly may reduce some traffic. I wish our fisherman friend would have still been here to give some insight on that, because I know those guys are traditionally first and last on the water, so I don't know what their hours are and what kind of fees they see at other lakes when they're traveling for launch fees, because those are probably the guys that are coming in for 1 or 2 tournaments, so they're not buying an annual fee. The ones that we're seeing out there that are every weekend, they're going to buy the annual fee, right? So it's going to be we are proposing an increase for that as well. But
Well, I'll make a motion to propose to 30, 200, and 150.
I'll second that. We'll do a roll call for 30 for daily, 200 for annual, 150 for boaters education discount.
What's the percentage on that, if you have it here?
That's that is why we jumped over to the launch, so that we can decide how that affects the docks and the piers and the sail club as well. So that's kind of why we shifted gears there to establish these rates first, before we started talking percentage or discounts to the docks. So, roll call, Nikki?
James Lutton,
Yes.
Mark Irvin,
Yes.
Shannon Powers,
No.
Brad Marshall,
Yes. Okay. So next, we will jump back to the docks. So when we were talking previously there, I mentioned the proposed numbers here for docks. Actually, it would be a decrease because we are adding in the annual launch cost. So for 25 season, the total cost for docks is $625. And we've got a note here that the dock itself would actually be reduced to $600. And I think where we're discussing now is what our adder will be for the launch cost of those. 40% would be 80, which would put it at a total of 680 for a dock for the 26th season. I think that would be my preference, but open to discussion there.
Yes, they're grandfathered in.
Wood docks would also need to purchase the annual rate, so they would have their current rate of $525, $550.
I don't know.
I don't have that written down. Whatever the current rate is for the wood dock plus the launch fee of 80,
Oh, the launch fee, yeah.
of a launch fee. So. Board discussion. Not. Entertain a motion for dock fee of $600 with an annual launch fee of 40% of the public rate, which is
80.
$80.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
James Lutton,
Yes.
Mark Irvin,
Yes.
Shannon Powers,
Yes.
Brad Marshall,
Yes. So the other line we have in the dock rates is the sail club. So historically, they have been at a reduced rate because they have purchased their docks, they maintain their docks, they put their docks in and out, and they pay that fee that we have established previously. That's been $500. I would still like to move them to the same dock fee plus launch fee, like we're doing with the other piers. So we've established that their launch fee is going to be $80. So then the discussion is, how do we want to price the sail club dock rate? The number I've got on the sheet here is $480, which is 80% of our public docks. The discount there is because they do maintain and work on all their docks themselves. That would bring their total to $560 instead of $500. Any discussion?
Can you repeat that? Their total,
Total would be $560. With their dock rate being 80% of the public dock rate and their launch fee being 40% of the public launch fee. Keith, yeah, Sail Club Commodore. So Keith is calling out that they do have their own launch, so they're not using our launch. With that in mind, how do we want to handle that?
Well, I'd say we just make it an increase of $80 on the dock and $80 on the, just make it an $80 fee increase on the piers, period, across the board.
Would you like to speak? Please, come on up.
Yeah, I know, Keith, I know you shared some information with me last month. I didn't get that distributed to the board. I apologize for that.
Okay. Yeah, Keith Addison, Commodore Muncie Sailing Club. It's been a long time, you know, that the sail club's been there. And we not only purchased all of those docks, we maintain them. Like we have a day coming up here next month that we will loosen all of our docks. And there have been times that this series of docks that Carl was referring to, that we pulled them over and attach them to ours for the winter. No impact really, it's just a place to float them. So it's a service that we, I guess, volunteer. But we do have our own dock. There isn't one of our boats that uses anything, you know, the road, the dock, the bucket, whatever, of the Prairie Creek facility. And what I'd given Brad kind of a breakdown of all the little things we do. We get security, we get mowing, that kind of service from Prairie Creek, and we're low impact on the environment. So my suggestion was that we would keep the $500 fee that we had last time, and it was kind of a same kind of a discussion at that time. No one really knew kind of what the difference is, and so that's kind of what we've done. We've lost several. Well, that's irrelevant, you know, several boats, but we collect that fee and then, you know, summarize it and tally up that so there's no administrative burden either. So that was kind of my, and about the dock, I wasn't sure if anybody knew that.
Yep.
So, okay.
I had forgotten that note that you guys do have your own ramp there.
But they're still going on the same lake. I mean.
Correct. There's not the wear on our
And
ramp.
the reason for the increase is for attrition.
Correct. And, yeah, and for. it
So I
increasing
believe
costs.
I think everybody should incur the same.
So we've proposed we've voted and approved going from 625 total to 680 for the public docks. That's an 8% increase. So I think I would propose an 8% increase to the Sail Club dock, which would be $544. We call it $545, I think would be appropriate.
No, I mean, the other boaters don't get the opportunity to maintain their own dock.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm sure if they did, they would. So,
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm Christy. And I think the sailboats are amazing and I have nothing against them. But one of the things that was brought up in the past was that we could no longer sell our campers with our campsite because we were profiting money off the city. The Sailboat Club has the opportunity to do what they do because they profit. They charge fees. There's a membership fee. They're making money off the city. So I feel like they should have the same increases that we have. Just my 2 cents.
Yeah, Keith.
Yeah, just for clarification, our members pay $325 each. That's our total revenue source for maintaining and taking care of everything. We don't make any profit on any of that. We don't, our facilities are available free to members, so if somebody came out and wanted to have a family reunion, they just schedule it. There's no fee to them whatsoever. So we actually don't profit from any of that stuff. We just,
Yeah.
we,
Might have been the wrong word, but it's enough to maintain.
that's all we have that we use to maintain. And then we also collect fees for kayaks. We have on the order of, I don't know, I forgot the number, 40 maybe, kayaks we collect fees for.
Plus you pay the city or PCR, what, 20,000 or
Well,
something
that's
like that?
That's the pass-through.
The pass-through, which
Okay.
includes the slip fees of 500, and
Right.
includes
Okay.
what we call day sailors, which you don't have, of $100. Those are boats that just sit on the ground, and kayaks. Those are the three that go into it, and then
Yeah.
it's somewhere around 2025.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, I guess a question on your, so do you guys historically handle the maintenance on all of the grounds, or how much is sorry, I'm gonna ask Keith first, and then you can come up.
Go ahead.
The grounds, all of the mowing is taken care of, except all the detail mowing and weed whacking, we do that. And we're requested, or required to tell you, like, if we'd like to put up a tree, you know, we've talked to Tawny and whoever your contact is, to say, well, we're gonna put it here and this is the right kind. We don't do anything like that. But the rest of the grounds, everything we maintain. If the building needs paint, we paint it.
If and when the ramp were to have a structural issue, would that
That's
be
us.
the club's responsibility?
Yep, that's us, as well as the breakwater there. That was put in,
The breakwater, yep.
I don't know, maybe 20, 30 years ago. And if that fails, that's our responsibility, Joe, so.
And your building's utilities?
Yeah, we pay our own electric bill, and we have a well and septic system on site. We maintain that. And we put a new roof, I believe, on the clubhouse about 4 years ago. That was all through that. We've been a little shy on that stuff because we've put a lot into the dock systems over the last 8 years, and now we're done. I mean, we're complete with that, so.
Mike Foster. So that I understand, you say the word pass-through, so you're collecting fees through kayaks and the rental of their piers. What additional money do they pay beside that? Or are you saying the word pass-through means you're taking all that money and passing through, not paying any other surcharge to Prairie Creek other than the pass-through money that they collect?
For the docks and the launch and the kayaks, correct. And
Right.
they've got the Sail Club is different because they have a contract, an agreement directly with the water company.
Yeah.
It's amendment to our
But you
lease.
guys don't control that.
Right, we don't have
They
any
control,
control
that's
of
the
that.
contract between them and the
Correct.
American Water. So we're not talking about that today. We're talking about your government appointees that say you charge them pass-through money on the piers like I do.
Yep,
And we occupy a campground like they do the Sailboat Club. They pay nothing. I pay a fee. We go down as Prairie Creek and mow their property. They mow part of our property. The inconsistency I see here is that, I'll agree with Mr. Lutton here, is they're not paying the freight. And I hate it for them because I know it's probably a dying art, but you're wanting to pass along fees. You're just at the pier so far. We haven't got to campgrounds and electricity and everything else. And I've stood up here in many of these meetings that says, I'm willing to pay it all, but that I need to. I don't want to pay nothing. But when you say the word pass-through, meaning they're not paying any additional fees other than what they're collecting.
correct.
That-
And that's
that-
that's the basis of their contract. So we
The
don't,
basis of the contract with Prairie Creek or Indian American Water, because those are two separate things.
so we don't own their piers. We don't do any
No, I
maintenance on their
understand that,
piers.
Absolutely. And they should have some type, but we're down there mowing. You guys supply a dumpster for them.
Mhm.
That's $100 a month. It's probably cheaper since you get so many of them. So I'm just going to say, I pay $116 at my company. I don't have near the dumpster as you guys do, so let's just call it 80. 80 times 12. Free to them. We're mowing down there, free to them. In the 500 watt, in the
Right.
pass-through money.
The pass-throughs, yep.
There's no paying on the property or the premises or the access to the reservoir like Mr. Lutton said.
Yep.
And I'm not saying, I want to see them sailboat guys out there too. They're a lot more environmentally friendly than those wave runners, and all that other big boats that are out there. But you guys, once again, we're using the excuse of that they have a contract with Indian American Water. That has nothing to do with this board. Nothing. You guys should establish fees based on what Mr. Lutton's saying. used proportionally amongst everybody, whether it's people renting the property down at the beach, a sailboat club that has access, or us as boaters and campers. And that's all I'm really asking for.
Thank you. Board discussion on the sailboat rate.
I think Keith had another comment.
Keith, one other thing.
Yeah, just, again, kind of a quick comment, but I understand the passion for the use of Prairie Creek, but the investment has totally been our own. So if you really line up the services here that he gets and the services that we get, it's from just a plain black and white perspective, it's very different. Our services are a dumpster and the lawn mowing, because that's in there, and security, which is the same security that you have, a person that, that drives around and checks things. Everything else, I mean, you don't want to pick up the expense of that seawall if it goes away. You don't want to pick up the expense of the other facilities that are there should something happen. And, ours has been built up since the 60s, so it's not like, there's docks here and so on, but, it's been 60 years of a little bit of a time rather than, all of a sudden 1 year kind of thing. So what we do is every slip, we give $500 to Prairie Creek because we are on the water. It's our slip, it's our maintenance, and we charge a credit card fee, or we pay the credit card fee and then simply write the check. So from a services perspective, I think it's extremely fair at this point in time. And spreading it further would be more subsidizing everybody else, so.
Thank you, Keith. Board discussion.
What were you saying about the 8%,
So,
right?
so the increase for all of our public docks is an 8% increase, going from $625 to a total cost of $680. That's what we voted and approved. So an 8% increase from the $500 would be $545. I'm not advocating for that. I guess it's just a point of reference and a note there of what that is.
Well, I'll put a motion on the floor to make it the 80 with the 480.
Okay. So that would be
So the,
560.
so the increase would be the same.
So we're seeing a $20 reduction in what we're calling their dock fee, and then we're requiring them to purchase an annual launch fee for $80. So they would go from $500 to $560 is Jim's motion. Is there a second?
But they don't use our launch.
What's that?
They don't use our dock launches. I think
But they're getting mowing.
no, I know that. I think that maybe we should increase that rate to 545 in another column instead of this launch. Instead of, you know what I mean?
Well, that's fine.
It just goes under docks, I
It would
guess.
just be their dock fee.
Okay, got it. Okay, just making sure. Okay. Yeah, their dock fee. Okay.
And you'd like that, you're proposing that goes to 545.
I had a motion for 560.
Yeah.
Okay. I second that.
Second Jim's motion.
Yes.
I guess to clarify that, we don't want to call that a launch fee then, so that's just going to be the sailboat dock fee of $560.
I think we need to take that off adjust our other to the same thing. So it'd just be a dock fee of 680.
The only reason I split it apart was if we make adjustments to our annual fee, that does reflect in the dock fee as well.
Yeah.
is why I split it apart. But I would support if we want to combine that and bring it back to the style that we've had in the past.
Would basically be the same thing, we would just be adjusting it a little different, right?
Right. And at this point, it's just how we've got on the spreadsheet. We've established that the public dock rate is 680 for next year. And we've got a motion and a second for Sail Club of 560 for next year.
And no lunch fee.
Right. We're essentially removing the launch fee.
I think it'd make
Line
the
item.
paperwork easier,
Yep.
it'd make it less confusing.
Okay. Roll call, please.
James Lutton,
Yes.
Mark Irvin,
Yes.
Shannon Powers.
Yes.
Brad Marshall,
Yes. All right. Anybody got a preference where we go next? Straight into the camping?
Okay.
Any objection? All right. So the camping rates I've got proposed here is no change to the campsite rate, but we would be adding an electrical surcharge. What I did on calculation of the electrical surcharge, which I think I'd shared with you guys last month, is I'd taken the last 2 years, the rough estimates of the pricing for summer rate versus winter rate, and I divided that among the campsites. Kind of the same concept here is that if we separate the electrical, if there's ever a time that we see a reduction in electrical usage, we see if there ever goes to a time that we can get electric out at the sites, this sets us up to have that segregated. What this number works out to is less than $30 a month for the season for a site for electrical, so I think that's probably within reason of what the costs would be. So that number is $200, which would bring the campsite new total to $1,650. $1,450 for the campsite and $200 electrical charge.
Is that all electrical meters throughout Prairie Creek or just the campground?
It's all of them through all of Prairie Creek is what was quantified. So we did identify that there are some other locations that are summer intensive, but the large portion of that is the campground. Just for everybody's reference there, what we did see is that November through April, the average monthly rate is $3,500. May through October, the average electrical rate is $11,800. That is all electrical bills at Prairie Creek. They are not separated cleanly for it to. This is the information I got from the controller's office.
I kind of feel like there's like when you have the campers out there that there's a lot of campers out there that doesn't use a lot of electric at all.
Can you come to the podium
Yeah,
so we can hear you?
Sorry, thanks, Jim.
Sorry. I feel like the charge of the electric, there's a lot of campers out there that doesn't use a lot of electric. And then you have campers out there that have like 1 million Christmas lights throughout their whole entire campsites that's on from morning till night and running everything, air conditioner all day, all night, even when they're not there, regardless. So I just feel like it makes it seem like everybody's going to have to pay the set fee, and then you have someone down the road that doesn't use it, but only on the weekends and very minimal. And then you have someone who's not there all week long, using all of the power nonstop, and they're still paying the same amount as you. I mean, I kind of feel like it's kind of unfair for some that doesn't use a lot of electric.
Well, today we don't have any way to monitor the electric. So the reason I split it up in the proposal was that we can continue to monitor annual electric usage and make adjustments to that rate. I think the other way we approach it is we just make a change to the campsite rate, would be the other way we approach it, not separate it from the electrical usage.
I would like to see it stay separated on this, that way, if we ever do go to metered, you just drop that off. And
Right.
that goes over to the power company then.
Yeah.
In 2024, we spent $92,000 on electric
Yes.
out there.
Hi, Mike Foster again. Let me give you guys some reference to the campground. I did a little bit of Google research as well as campgrounds, and I agree with you guys that there has to be, like you said, some type of surcharge to get set up for the future. I don't think it's fair that we pass every electrical bill throughout Prairie Creek, including the streetlights throughout the whole place, which they're about, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, like $15 a street light, thanks to the study I seen. So you guys got a lot of street lights that are outside the campground, but, I don't think with Mr. Marshall saying that we can separate, so we just got to come up with a fair number. But those are some Google searches. I will say this about the electricity, and I'll go ahead and just finish the rest of this, make it real quick, is a lot of these campgrounds charge 50 amp, 30 amp. A lot of campgrounds charge lakefront center, pier, non-pier, sewer, no sewer. So as you dig down into these rates, I hope that you take a little bit of study. I know you're proposing some of this stuff, but hopefully you don't pass this tonight without a little bit of extra research, because you do have 50 amps out there that have been installed over the years. More than 3 sites, more than 5 sites. There's a few sites out there. I think I can identify 5 that I didn't walk around and look at the boxes, but I know when you go to Cozy Campground, you pay one rate for the 30 amp, and then you pay one rate for that. So I'll just use Mr. Marshall's number at $30 a month, maybe the 50 amps, $40 a month. If you guys want to increase that rate to start for revenue streams, I think you look at that. Now, as far as passing the whole cost off to the campers, once again, we always pass all the costs off to the pier holders and the campers. That's the only people we look at.
If we were doing that,
We're
sir,
adjusting all of the rates tonight. We're looking at
Yeah.
all rates across the board.
And I
but if
appreciate
we
that,
were,
but
if you,
the whole
what you're
electric bill's being looked at,
insinuating
right.
though, Mike, is that we're passing it all off. If that was the case, then each camper would be paying about $475 a year of electric surcharge. So we're not doing that.
So you're taking a percentage of that, then, is what
Well,
you're
I'm just saying, you just said the campers are
Percentage of the
absorbing
summer
all of
usage,
this.
yes.
Thank you.
So-
You didn't hear that in your
Yeah.
comment. That makes a lot more sense. If you're taking a percentage of the summary of the total amount of metered electricity, then I could agree with that. I didn't hear that.
So it's the difference between the winter and the summer rate. So assuming that all the facilities that are running in the summer, or in the winter, are still running in the summer, and then it's a percentage of that difference is where that $200 came from.
Gotcha. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll look at your documents here.
So it sounds like, Jim, you're leaning towards keeping these separate. I think that's kind of the general consensus, that keeping those separate in a hope that one.
Well,
we
the
can-
ultimate goal is to get metered power.
that is a dream, and I think everybody out there would support that.
Yeah.
But we got to figure, we haven't even got to some of the other things that we've got coming up too, but that'll, but
Yep. Brad, I would reluctantly support the 200 because I think it's moderated. It could be higher based on the numbers. It's not an easy amount. I mean, it's real money
yes.
for those paying it. We recognize that. But I do think whatever we do, again, we know that the electrical system is substandard. We've heard everyone loud and clear. And not only that, everybody is saddled with substandard to a degree. We'd love to see it replaced. I think a citizens group, and I think someone mentioned it at one of the prior meetings, we'd welcome someone trying to enter into discussions with Indiana, Michigan, or with someone about how can we replace this? How can we upgrade this and make it, if not state of the art, at least very good? But then everybody pays their own way.
Yep.
Because there are some suffering, clearly, and there are others that don't use a lot. But that doesn't mean that you all can't have a voice working with, this is really not our issue, this is an electrical issue. And there may be grants, there may be other things, and we would support whatever could get done. There's just not city money to do it, but we would support whatever could get done to improve that, I think. But we've got to start somewhere, and the 200 seems as fair as it can be.
I know you guys want to go home. The one that is from Cozy Campground, there's a map included. I actually did a lot of research, and that is a campground with a lake. So I felt like it was pretty comparable. It's an hour from Muncie. For $2,200 a year, my camper gets to stay there. I don't have to pay winter storage. I not only have access to the lake, because every campsite can purchase a pier for $550 for the year. I don't have to pay winter storage. I have full sewage hookup. I pay my own electricity. But it's all based on if you have this or if you have that. So if you have 30 amp, it's cheaper. So it's very comparable to what we have. But I just wanted you guys to know that about what he gave you, because I feel like that. But that lake is also huge.
This one
with
matches.
5 restaurants. Yes.
This one matches up with Cozy, right?
Yes,
Okay.
that one matches up with Cozy. Because they have 3 spots available, because we were looking at it.
Yeah.
It was gonna cost me $2,200 when I'm paying, I should have this open, sorry.
$1,450.
Well, no, if I'm storing my camper there, I'm paying $1,800, which is very comparable, if not more, than what I'm paying there. And they have an in-ground pool, they have miniature golf, they have a store, they have a game room. So they have a lot of amenities. They do a lot of activities with, you know. And I don't, you are doing a fabulous job and you speak so well, so thank you. And I don't know what her credentials are, and I don't know if she's staying, but somebody to run a campground that knows how to run a campground would be the first place to start.
Is this a city-owned?
No, private campground,
Okay.
private campground.
And they have like 800 or so sites?
No, it's not that big.
Okay.
I don't think so. I didn't get how many sites
Yeah, I
were
didn't
there.
count them all, but they're numbered up through 700s, but
Yeah.
I don't see the low numbers.
Yeah, there's no like 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
I know, I guess there
600.
are. Yeah, they're on the
But
loop.
there's also homes that are permanent in that campground, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing 800 and,
But they make money
22.
off sewage. If you don't have full sewage hookup, they have somebody that will dump it for you for $10 a week. So, but they also have a store, so they can make money that way too.
Yeah.
I mean, again, you have somebody that knows how to run a campground, there's other opportunities to make money. Our weekend campsite's at $30, that's dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. Raise the heck out of that one. So,
that's on the list next. Not next, but it's on the list too, yep.
My name's Nathan Buck, I'm campsite 152. I don't know that any of us could actually sit down and have a conversation with the power company to try to get them out there to see what would cost, what we could do. That would be her or him. I mean, like, I could make a call, but I don't have any control over anything out there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're
It would take
serious-
the city
Yes,
joining
it's
in
gonna
with
be
you.
somebody more
Yeah.
than a camper to have that conversation. Now, before, we had talked about, hey, maybe we can do this, but it would be you or somebody from the city have to make that call. And then there's things that maybe as campers, we could do stuff, but you're kind of like a losing battle, just
Yeah.
some random guy calling and saying, hey, we want power to the campground. So,
I think probably we would have to all work together.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, the one thing that I think just the reality is with Senate Bill 1 and the financial things, the city, there's not going to be tax dollars to do that, so we've got to look at other alternatives.
Grants and stuff like, try to get a grant or something like that. I'm sure there's stuff for campgrounds, but I'm just saying, like, that would be great, but it would have to be you.
Yeah,
the
it'd have to be a
somebody-
group.
Somebody like.
Certainly,
that.
if somebody's got a connection, that's the main
And I
thing.
have connections, but at the same time,
Yeah, push them our way and,
I have to get you involved as opposed to.
absolutely.
Sure.
Yep,
Just
You bet.
saying, hey, I need a pricing. So,
yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So back to seasonal camping.
Yeah,
So not raising the campsite rate, that stays the same as 2024.
so wanted to add some clarification to what I did, because I understand his confusion there. So what I did was I took the winter average and the summer average. That difference is $8,000 roughly. I divided that by 200 campsites, yet again, a rough number, which gives you $40 a month, and took 75% of that is how I got the $30 a month. And then it's actually even a hair less than $30 a month is where the 200 came in. So that's how I got this proposal number. So that's where that came from.
Well, I would like to make a motion to approve the $30, well, the $200.
With
With the $1,450,
with no change to the campsite rate or the
Yes.
winter storage rate.
yes.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
James Lutton,
Yes.
Mark Irvin,
Yes.
Shannon Powers,
Yes.
Brad Marshall,
Yes. Next on the list, we've got event fees. So historically, we have had one flat event fee, $25 for all events. What we've got here is a proposal to increase event fees to $50, to add a category for large events, which yet again, I've proposed that that's 100 guests, and also adding a security deposit to events of $100. And those rates would be per day. So if we had a multi-day event, that would be, so a 2-day large event would be $300. A 2-day small event is gonna be $100.
The community building is $75.
What was that?
The community building in the campground, if you rent that, it's $75 for the day.
So if they have any shelters or other amenities, they also have to, those are part of the rate. So if you have a shelter and event,
And they have the bathrooms, that's electricity, cleaning, that's a building that they're
Mhm.
utilizing. I think you could get a lot more than that.
We discussed also having a special events fee. So it'd be another column on here for very large events.
Yeah.
Like
Oh.
that.
200 plus.
Yeah.
Or some number.
And what I had suggested would be more like $1,000 for for special events. But that's the California girl, those kinds of
No,
prices.
I- I've not been involved in the Ironman agreements or the contracts there, and there may be, no matter what we do, there may or may not be changes to Ironman. I don't know how their
Yeah.
contract is established. But like today, we had
Ruble.
the Ruble events would fall into what we're calling here a large category event. The Jeep Club would be a small event, right? The Catfish Club would have been a small event. Johnny's birthday party with capacity that exceeds the shelter, because that's been our threshold to be an event. If it exceeds the shelter capacity, it's an event and needs approval. So those are kind of what we've talked about there. So
Yeah.
do we want to adjust any of these or add categories? I think no matter what we do, I don't know that we want to split hairs. I mean,
Yeah.
I think this is a good step in the right direction. If we increase it 20 or 30, I think we're headed in the right direction on how we manage and how we charge for events out there.
What qualifies to get the security deposit back?
I think that would be at the discretion of our maintenance and janitorial team. So anything outside of normal wear and tear. Obviously, if there's any damage to our facilities, if there's any excessive trash remaining, and that's something I know Carl and Nikki deal with in town on security deposits.
Do you have security deposits? Do you take security?
They're,
Evans,
Okay, good.
are they $75?
80.
80 for a security deposit in town.
I actually think those increases are pretty reasonable. I'd make a motion that we go ahead and pass those increases.
Motion is $50 for small events, $150 for large events, security deposit of $100.
That is refundable.
Yeah, refundable security deposit. Got a motion?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Yep.
Sorry.
Roll call, please.
James Lutton,
Yes.
Mark Irvin,
Yes.
Shannon Powers,
Yes.
Brad Marshall.
Yes.
Could we table or discuss at our next meeting adding another column for special events?
Yeah.
Not tonight, but, and then we could have some discussion and gather some research.
So with, I guess, to circle back, so the Rubel event, they do expect more than 100 guests. So their-
300 to 500.
So their service fee will be $150 per event, based on the rates we just adopted. All right. Next on the list, we've got non-motorized daily and annual. The 25 rates were $5 and $40. And the notes I've got here are daily rate of $5 and annual rate of $50.
Why wouldn't we bump the daily?
I would be open to that.
What was that, Jim? I'm sorry.
Right here on the non-motorized.
The
For
daily.
kayaks and canoes and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I'd say 10 and 50.
And 50. Any other discussion?
I second that.
Yeah, well, you want to motion that? then?
Motion, sorry.
10 and 50 for non-motorized. Motion,
Second.
second. Roll call, please.
James Lutton,
Yes.
Mark Irvin,
Yes.
Shannon Powers.
Yes.
Brad Marshall.
Yes. Next on the list here, we've got beach fees. So previously, beach fees were assessed at the beach. And then several years ago, we did reduce that to a free beach. That was in the same window that we went to beach attendants and not lifeguards on duty. They are still certified lifeguards, but they're not on duty on the beach. Yet again, looking at all of our options on how we try to generate a little bit more revenue. I was not able to find what the fees were before at the beach. I don't know if anybody's got a memory or history of that,
I think they were similar to Tui Pool.
but I
So they
proposed,
should be the same as Tui Pool, I would think.
So Tui is $2 for anyone under 3, 3 to 12 was 4, and anyone above 12 was 5. Right?
I mean, because the beach house used a lot of electricity and
yep,
they got to clean them and there's all that. So I'd say we match Tui.
the same 3-tiered price structure?
Yes.
Or do we want to simplify it at all?
No, I would say we just keep it the same as Tui, and then that way we have the same rate at both our swimming.
Shannon, what was that again? Sorry.
0 to 3 was $2. 0 to 2, I'm sorry. And then 3 years to 12 years was 4, and then 13 and above was 5.
Any board discussion there?
I'd like to also consider adding on a fee for people to bring in coolers. Because a lot of, a fee to bring in coolers. A lot of people like to bring in coolers to the beach with their own food. Obviously, no alcohol rule,
Well,
but,
no glass.
right.
Yeah. I think that one we probably need to table and look at with special
Okay.
events. I don't know if there's any Board of Health or insurance
Okay,
issues
right.
at the beach.
We
'cause
don't,
there
we don't
could be.
allow them at Tui, so yeah, let's look into that.
So we'll talk about that.
Okay.
But I do, yet again, another way to look at some revenue stream. And that was actually a comment, a feedback from the public, so I appreciate that from last meeting. So we've got proposed rates of $2, $4, $5, age determinant to match TUI pools. I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Next on the list, we've got bank fishing. Now, I know this has historically been a concern that, or perception that bank fishing access has continued to be reduced and harder to get to. I know one of our intentions moving to the floating piers was try to open up more bank fishing, but that's maybe not came to fruition like we'd hoped. Some of that being the unknowns on the maintenance and erosion control and perceptions there. The 25 rate was $3 for daily, 15 for annual. What I've got noted here is $5 for daily, 25 for annual. Open to discussion. Yet again, I probably wish our fishermen would have been here. I guess I don't know if anybody else out there is bank fishermen or got any relevant feedback for this item.
Question for anybody that knows, maybe Misty or Carl, can you access the bank to fish reasonably?
It depends on which parts of the
Sorry, thank you, Misty. More time you get up there, the more comfortable you're gonna be.
Apologies for all the minute notes that you'll have to add.
Yeah.
Something that I was made aware of through the office, talking with folks, through the campground, etc., is that when it comes to bank fishing, much like Kyle had mentioned earlier, there's been a decline in the access that they've had in the past, whether it's due to the closures of the ATV trails, etc., or the erosion control with the vegetation in some areas too. I myself have not seen any official paperwork outlining which areas specifically need to have that vegetation in place. Maybe that's something we can work towards and get ideas on. This is not the first nor the last time I will foresee the office that I'm in getting a call regarding bank fishing and how it's been limited. I know as of this point, the consensus from the folks I've interacted with is that it has been limited. Since I entered into the picture mid-July, that's what I've heard and what I've witnessed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I know it probably doesn't paint the whole picture, but annual, or excuse me, in 23 to 24, the revenue from annual fishing and daily fishing both increased. And I think some of that was because we had some additional security, so that we had some more enforcement of those fees. But in those timeframes, we did see an increase in the revenue from those. And it forecasted for 25, we're going to be at or above our 24 rates or collections as well.
I'll make a motion to go to the 525.
Second? Okay.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We're getting close to the end.
Yes.
Two more. Okay, next we've got daily rentals. So in this column, I've got included primitive rates, campsite rates, cabin rate, shelter rate, and we are looking at adding a security deposit for cabin and shelters. So primitive in 25 was 13. This has got a proposal going to 15. Campsite is 30, going to 35, and security deposit of $100. I know we've received some feedback that these are very affordable, but we've also not seen our primitive at capacity either. Our campsites are probably closer to capacity, especially on the weekends, but the primitive hasn't shown that demand.
How about the cabin?
That, I think the cabin is the actual, the overnight cabins. The community building was one I couldn't find. I didn't know if it was under a shelter rate or if it had a different rate associated with it. I know Misty, I know you referenced $75, but I don't know if what the community cabin rate is.
It's 75. So you have to have a campsite.
I would,
Yeah, as far as I can see, it's not on this list that's publicly available, but it is 75 for the rental
Okay.
of the community building.
is there a reason we wouldn't have the community building the same rate as the shelters?
Probably the air conditioning, correct?
It's got more electric than the shelters
What does
do.
the shelters have? What do the shelters have? Just nothing?
Yeah, they're
Just a roof?
open roof and picnic tables.
Because there's electric and, there's an electric fireplace in there that probably is a super sucker and air conditioning.
Okay.
So the cabin isn't something you sleep in?
The cabins are, but we're calling the community building, the community cabin, is
Okay.
not on this
Got it.
public fees rate.
Got it.
So yeah, the daily cabin is the overnight cabin that's out there. I didn't have a perception if those are at capacity. I didn't propose a rate increase, but that's something that I think we could discuss if I didn't have capacity numbers on those.
It depends on the weekend, I will say. Most of the time, the weekend is the only time that those are utilized. Holiday weekends, they're usually all booked out. We have 5 of them at the South Shore Campground. They are $75 a night, and it is required that if you rent one out, you have to at least rent out 2 nights.
Okay.
Or 3 for a holiday.
Yes, correct.
And they have their own bathroom?
There is access to a restroom across the road, but it is a latrine with an additional 2 porta potties. This is not like the North Shore Campground that they have access to.
So do they come over to the North Shore Campground and go to
That
use
is
those
something
facilities?
in the past, it sounds like yes and no. There have been different takes on whether that should be the case. The restrooms that are right across the road are the ones that they have been incentivized to use, but from the amount of time I've been in the equation, I've observed a little bit of both happening, and I've heard different things based on records indicating what they should use.
Okay.
I think that's a piece as we implement our security that we're gonna have to decide is, I think we've agreed that all of the North Shore has access to the shower house. That's pretty much a given, but what other amenities are we gonna allow? Peers in that area access? Are we gonna allow our overnight campers access? How do we expand that? But I don't know that we need to get into those weeds today.
I think that is something to discuss at a later point. It's been something that I've been receiving multiple phone calls about. A lot of them are takes that I think need to be considered in this. But I agree that perhaps for a future board meeting, we shall discuss that further.
So I guess the column that does need added here, though, is the community shelter or the community cabin at the rate of $75.
When I say we leave that at 75?
I like that as well.
Can I make one suggestion to the board?
Yes.
I would look at the dump fees at truck stops because temporary campers over in the campground site, at your current rate, they camp at a minimum of 2, 3 on the holiday. They pull out, they go to your used out-of-date system. They dump that whole trailer system into your system on that same rate, as well as there's no surge. You need to look into surcharge for electric. So I would look at that rate for those campers to be somewhat higher to accommodate for those two things too, because they are using electricity. And the biggest thing is, I don't know I heard that it's $10 to $20 at the truck stop to dump unless you find a free place. So, you're talking about a campsite, dump fee, and electricity. Right now, your rate's just covering them all, and it's pretty
Right.
underrated.
So with that in mind, knowing that we do have a septic issue, I think there is justification for the campsite rate to even be higher.
Yes.
I don't know if we want to look at a 45 or 50 for the daily rate for a campsite. Were any daily rates included in this other information you gave me?
No, but what I found was anywhere between 50 and 70.
Okay. So,
Cozy.
yeah, so I think
I don't think 50's out of line.
50 would be reasonable, and yet
I agree.
again, so I think I would entertain a motion for primitive rates of 15, campsite rates of 50, maintain 75 at the daily cabin, shelters stay at 58, community cabins stay at 75, and we'll be adding a deposit for shelters and cabins at $100.
Could I ask that we move primitive up to $17? Just because
Any objection to that?
they're using, I've
Why
heard
are we
different of
leaving the
the
cabins at 75 if we're boosting everybody?
Those seemed comparable. I wasn't able to find a whole lot, but those seemed within competitive rates.
how much is a cabin in town?
I believe the one down on 67 there, before you get to Pendleton, is 125 a night on that old fishing pond.
Okay.
Everybody stays down there to go to Rue up there.
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
They got nothing but cabins down there.
okay.
Do we want to look at the cabin rate then?
Yes.
Got a proposal?
100?
That's what I wrote down, was 100.
Any objection?
No.
So I would entertain a motion for 17, 50, 100, 58, 75, and 100.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. And last one of reference on this list is the golf cart rates. We previously had a daily rate of $5, annual rate of $100. And what I've got noted here is just increasing the daily rate. Certainly we could look at increasing the annual rate as well. We're not changing anything with the seasonal campsites, the first,
Well, we already changed that back here.
right, but the first golf cart is included in your seasonal rate. So this would be for additional golf carts, or daily users that would purchase an annual.
Do people actually come out with just get a daily golf cart?
Well, the weekend people, do they pay for their golf carts? Most of them bring a golf cart with them.
Sure, I'm getting my steps in tonight. I know that at the beginning of the season is when most of the golf cart or ATV related passes have been purchased, especially for the seasonal sites. For the daily sites, this is not something that I, in my time here, have observed actively, whether or not they're coming in to pay that fee or not. So something that perhaps we need to look more into. But it's something that, in my observations, I've not seen either way.
Well, I almost say if somebody's bringing one in for their stay, it would be, we would do a flat rate versus a daily rate with that.
We don't even have a daily rate then. You buy an annual pass and that's what you get.
So you're saying the 5 and 10? Isn't that for the weekly rentals, campground? Or the daily?
Yeah, I mean, I would be open to abandoning the daily rate, that you gotta buy the annual pass. It's $100 to have a golf cart out there. Would be one way to approach that. We just abandon the daily rate.
Well, then everybody would have a sticker and you could police it that way.
And leave it at $100.
And then if they don't have a sticker, you charge them $100. Got to enforce it though. Yeah.
Which I think our security guy's been pretty good at monitoring stuff, especially if we tell them, so.
Well, and that's something in the future too, I would like to incorporate more into standard operating procedures for
Yeah.
monitoring the campground as well, so make that a requirement.
Okay.
For sure.
Any other discussion?
Well, the people that bring their golf carts are frequent weekend campers, so it's gonna benefit them to just have the $100 anyway, so. And then at least we know we're collecting it.
It allows us to monitor it as well.
Yes.
And it's easier for us to police.
So I make a motion, we scratch the 5, 10, and anybody that brings a golf cart has to buy the annual $100 pass.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Excellent. Well, that concludes the rate reviews. I appreciate the board, the public, the comments. I think we're covered a lot there. Sorry, Nikki, for all you're
Marathon.
gonna have to
This
cover.
is,
The last one that I did want to talk, I guess that covers all of the old business. Got a couple, I guess I found there's 2 here on new business that we need to address. The known septic issue that we've got out there. We're kind of in a stalemate at this time regarding the water company and what is going to be allowed. I think it was the last or maybe the one before, one of the discussions was that there's going to be an evaluation of the campground and boating capacity of the lake. Who does that, what that means, when that's going to be, is unknown at this time. The other thing we do know is there is documentation associated with the lease for 50 sites out there. So part of the hangup, kind of a long road to get there, is the septic system. The state regulations for the septic system are based on campsite numbers. So how do you design a system without knowing how many sites there are? So I reached out to the city engineer and asked him to at least ballpark some numbers based on today's size, half, and 50. And those rates come in anywhere from $30,000 to $100,000. So I don't think we've got really any discussion today on that. It's just a note that we are going to have at least a $30,000. I'm expecting it's probably going to be more in the $75,000 to $100,000 expenditure to update that septic system.
I do have a question on the septics that he's talking about.
Yep.
Are those tanks, are they daisy chained together? Is
I-
that how they're hooked up, or are they separate tanks?
I don't know that answer.
And then, City Councilman Brandon Garrett approached me when we, started discussing all the, septic issues. And he did say the city council would help with finding money to get this thing done.
Good.
So we definitely need to be reaching to them.
what would the annual, do you have any idea what the range would be for annual upkeep?
I don't know.
Okay.
So that would come to the pump fees associated with that. I don't know that those show up
Okay,
anywhere in our expense, because that's the system that is preferred and proposed is the tank system. So the water company is not interested in a septic system, be a leach field or multiple,
Yeah.
there's multiple options there. They want a pump and haul system.
Pump and haul.
Similar to what is today, but the sizing has to be in compliance for the Board of Health, so. Okay. The last item we've got on new business, that I don't know if we want to have a lot of discussion on tonight, but we need to at least as a board talk about is, per the legal recommendations in the rules that we adopted, was that 2 months ago now? Or last 2 months ago? I'm gonna read this and then we can talk about it. Any leaseholder, campsite, or dock found to be in violation of any federal, state, or local regulation related to public health and safety shall not be offered a renewal of said lease following the end of the lease term. So the way I interpret that rule, and I think the way that legal wrote it, is that if there's any violation, which would be the Department of Health inspections, they shall not be offered renewal of said lease following end of the lease term. So I know I've reviewed with you, a couple of you individually here on the board as well. I think some of these cited in the health department are what I would personally consider as minor offenses, and some of them are definitely more severe and/or habitual offenses. I think at this time, the way the rule was written and adopted, we have to send non-renewals to those in violation. But I would like to entertain an appeal process to review those cases individually and offer the campers an opportunity to appeal the case. Now, what those stipulations are going to be, I think we're still in discussion. I guess I'm open to some board discussion tonight on that, or if we want to table and talk about it next month, but it's something that we're going to need to address here pretty quickly.
Well, my question is, will the appeals be a public hearing, or how will that be?
I reached out to legal this week to ask them what the requirements of that would be. Certainly some of this information would be personal information. So I don't know if we would need to have a committee with less than a majority of the board members, so it's still a legal meeting, or if it would need to be an executive session where the entirety of the board could be in place. So legal is still getting a response on that. I assume a committee would probably include 2 of the board members, Misty and or Tani, and probably Carl as an appeal board is what I would see.
What does it require for the executive board?
So there are legal requirements on what can be discussed in an executive board. I'm not an attorney, I don't claim to be, but I think this may fall into an executive because it is a lease and a contract discussion. But that's something we gotta get with legal to understand what those terms exactly are. And then obviously there's some logistical issues on how we schedule that and how we get people to the appeal process.
Well, I don't think that should fall on 2 people's shoulders.
I would agree. I would not want to have to force any of you guys to do that, and I wouldn't want to have to do that on my own either, so. And the other option would be is that none of the board is involved, that it's a management decision. Now, we've had a lot of turnover out there. I know as a board, I believe we would support and back any decision that they make. But that is a lot of weight to put on their shoulders as well. Yeah.
If someone's in violation, are they notified?
Can you please come to the mic?
Yeah, sorry.
If someone's in violation, are they notified? Like, if the State Department, because I know they've been out there a couple times, so if somebody has
done something wrong, are they notified?
That is the correct procedure, yes. So there's been 2 Department of Health inspections this year. One was held on June 27th and
August 25th.
August 25th.
Yeah.
So I do not believe notices have went out on either of these. The one in June is actually addressed to Dustin Clark, and the manager of information is Kelly McClellan. So this one was in the transition period, and that got dropped. The one in August 25th is, I don't know when we actually received that at the office. So
I
yeah,
mean, if somebody doesn't know they're in violation, they can't make a correction. I mean, I understand the violation's already happened, but
correct.
when they're the campfire violations and stuff like that, that's
My thing is, if you're gonna kick them out, you should at least give them an opportunity, just like I personally have complained about a neighbor and the amount of garbage and junk that has been sitting on his campsite for 2 years, all winter long. It has sat there and nothing has happened. And I don't even know if he ever got a letter, but I got my letter for winter storage already. So,
Yep.
I mean, you got the letters out for that.
So that's kind of where we did, winter storage went out. I guess that was a good segue there. The way the rules were wrote up by the legal team, we're trying to figure out how to accommodate these rules, but also provide some grace for these violations that may be perceived as minor and that could be resolved. I think the individual discussions I've had, and my personal opinion is that there's habitual offenses, so we can go back historically, and we do know that some of those were sent out. Yet again, it's a little fuzzy on some of the records on when those were sent out, but some of the habitual offenders or gross negligence of any of those are probably grounds for non-renewal, but there's some in here that I read that are, in my personal opinion, are questionable. So that's, we're trying to figure out how to get there. So that's where I want to make it known to the board. And as we move through this, per the rules adopted, we may have to send out the non-renewals, and then we're figuring out how to address those. So that's my warning, and don't want any campers to get a non-renewal and be like, what is this? What is this about? We're trying to work through a way that we can be in compliance with the rules, be appeasing to the water company, and still provide some grace for the campers.
As it is today, it's 0 tolerance.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to figure out, is how to make it maybe not be 0 tolerance, but yet still. And I think it is important to the water company too, because it's health violations that we're dealing with.
Yep.
So,
well, I think we need to have the entire board in the appeals process, because we all have different views, and we can discuss things better if we're all.
Yeah. That's where I'm hoping it can be an executive session.
Yeah.
My vision would be an executive session. We would upfront talk about the general violations we see, no site specific, no camper specific, general violation overview. What we kind of set a precedence for what is a non-renewal severity and what's not, and then get into the individual ones that have appealed.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody has an appeal, they should have the right to speak to us. So they should be at the appeal.
I would agree. It'd probably be
And I mean, it doesn't have to be,
Public.
it can be in a
Close the door.
boardroom
Yeah.
or something and let them address
Yeah.
us.
Yep.
So it's not airing out everybody's laundry.
Yep.
if we comply with the open door law,
Right.
we have to comply with the open door law, and I don't know that this will fit that. That's our challenge.
But we have an appeals form where people can be very thorough in their response.
It could even be non-renewal, subject to the discretion of the Parks Board, where we would act in a public meeting, but we would gather information before.
Yep.
Possibly.
And then even in that case, then we can talk about A, B, C, D. If we need to follow up with individuals, that could happen before, as long as it's not a quorum. So,
I just want somebody to have the ability to
Yeah.
speak to us
Absolutely.
when they're facing that.
yes.
Absolutely.
And that's, we may need to revisit the rule as well. But these are the rules that were presented and recommended by
Yeah.
the legal team based on the contract negotiations ongoing. So that's why we adopted them the way we did.
Yep.
Didn't we have kind of a target date for November 15th?
Yeah, the timeline I would see there would be that, I would expect that we may start sending out these non-renewal notices here in the next month. And the appeal process is pending. And hopefully before our next meeting, we'll have a clear definition of what that appeal process is.
Okay.
And then if it's got to be a public open meeting, maybe that's at our November meeting. If it's an executive session, we're probably looking at late November, early December to have decisions before the end of the year.
Well, can we have our appeals process set up by next meeting?
I hope we can. So, well, we've got October is our next meeting, so then our appeals could be in the November meeting, depending on what
Legal says.
legal status.
Yeah.
Because I want to give, because we've not sent out non-renewals, so I want a window for them to be able to appeal, which I kind of thought a mid-November deadline for the appeal application. And then we could review at the November meeting, or first week of December if it's private. Could still
And then we could ask you for like, if you've sent letters to like this trash situation, we could get copies of that.
Yep. And she started to build out a matrix of historical, I don't know that we got any questions yet. So she's built some of the historical cross-reference of the health board violations, security violations, complaint violations. So she's started to build that out, and I think that's a tool for us to determine a non-renewal or renewal status as well.
Yeah.
So,
Nope, you can't talk.
So on the violations, you're saying that any violation from those dates, regardless if you deem it critical or non-critical, are all going to be non-renewals?
the way the rule is written at this time, it has to be. So that's where
Okay.
we're trying to figure out how to work around or through that.
So when do people have to pay their winter storage?
Winter storage is independent of,
I know, but when do people have to pay their winter storage?
October 31st.
Okay, so if you're not gonna have so somebody could technically pay their winter storage to you and you not have any sort of, they not even know that they're gonna get kicked out.
can we get these letters out?
I mean, I could have a violation. I don't
Yeah.
know. You know what I mean? So I'm like,
Right. I understand your question.
I mean, I
How
should have a
quick,
violation, but I don't know.
how quickly can we have these out, Misty?
The winter storage orders have already been sent out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Last week, some people have come to the office to pay for those. As far as the violations, we can have those letters. We have to inform the controller's office that we will be mailing out a lot of letters. But once I inform them, we can get them out by the end of this week.
Okay. So, we'll say they're gonna go out within a week, and then you should have them within
Well, that's what I'm
7 to
saying.
10
When
days.
you first
Yeah.
started talking, you were talking about having stuff by November 15th.
Yeah, well, that's,
And-
so that is our proposed timeline for you to have your appeal back to us.
Okay.
So, it sounds like Misty's willing to commit to having those out by the end of the week. So I'll give her a little grace, hopefully by a week out would be the 23rd.
I was looking at somebody
So-
paying their winter storage before they even got a critical, no, they have a critical violation.
So non-renewal should be received by the 3rd of October.
And what is a non-critical violation and a critical violation in your eyes?
I don't know yet, to be honest with you.
That's the key question.
Yeah, that's what we're working
And that's, I
on.
think, I don't want to speak for the board or go, say that something is and then vary, because yet again, if there's, we can go back and if you've had a non-critical violation every single year for the last 10 years, it's like you're,
Yeah, I've never gotten a letter
yeah. so-
about anything. But at the same time, you know, I mean, like, when they come out, do they take photos? I mean, or do they just write down on a note, oh, this is site
So
152 or whatever? I mean, because, I mean.
So I can read,
curious about that.
I'll go back to 18, so these aren't relevant with this case, but some of these violations are sewage leaking slightly and dripping out of the cap, blue tank not connected, sewage leakage, external sewage tank overflowing. So those are so they've got different categories.
Okay.
So those, to me, sewer-related personally are more severe than one that comes up a lot is, and I think is going to be a debating point, is trash in the fire. I think that's one that everybody talks about is trash in the fire.
Would that be considered critical?
In
I mean, like because my problem is that there's people that run all over the campground,
yes,
you know what I mean? And say they throw a beer can in my trash can on Sunday night, and then all of a sudden I get a violation because it's his fault. So,
yeah. So I think
that's where I'm, you know what I mean?
That's one that I think is going to be a major
example.
talking point for the committee or the board is what is a severe and what's a minor, and how do we handle those, and then how do consistent or habitual offenses play into that as well.
So is the non-renewal, do they have to be habitual, or is it just this list that you've gotten for the previous 2 months?
Any sites that are on the 25 health violations are subject to non-renewal per the rules.
And security incidences
Yep.
as well.
Yeah, so that's.
Police issues
Okay, so security would be,
is all included.
okay,
Okay,
what's a security issue? Like
Any-
as far
any
as
that
people
would be-
fighting, or the security have to be called to their site, or what? Police?
Running over somebody's arm in a car.
So so that will defer probably to our security team and our security reports or any police
Right.
documentation.
Yes, I'll agree with that one.
Yeah,
Okay, so security is not,
is independent of
Yeah,
this portion
okay.
of the rule, yeah. So falls under a different, so that falls,
Egregious offenses.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some that are easy. Criminal conduct, you're gone,
well, yeah, absolutely.
right.
I mean,
which
we-
everybody would
So-
want.
We
Yeah,
hope
so-
to uphold that.
Yeah, right. So that's,
Okay.
so the new rule as recommended by the legal team references
So this, you're saying this is a new
federal,
rule?
state, or local regulations related to public health and safety. And
Okay.
their definition is that the Indiana Department of Health would be a state public health and safety violation. So any
So-
violations of those shall not be offered a renewal of said lease following the end of the term of the
So you're
lease.
saying new rule. Now, was this something, like, so when I signed my contract, I agreed to this here? Or are you saying this is something new now?
These were the rules as presented by the legal team that came out of the executive session
From the contract?
from the
That we
contract
signed.
negotiation. with the
Okay,
department.
okay, that's what we said new, so I'm like,
Yeah, so they're new.
so this should have
2
been
months ago.
enforced for years past?
Probably to some
Okay.
degree, yep.
Okay.
But it came out of these most recent. Now, is the verbiage right? Do we need to, or subject to non-renewal, but the way it's written today is shall not be renewed.
Okay.
So,
I
and
figure there are questions that need to be answered.
Yeah.
that's kind of where we're still in this,
Well, can we put that in the agenda to address that rule?
yeah. So I'm,
And we can amend our rules.
Yeah,
And that
yeah.
we'll probably want to take a look at that.
but I guess that's where I wanted to get it out for the board to understand and anybody in the public that today, this is what the rule says.
Yeah.
Non-renewal letters are gonna need to go out to get notice, but we're working on a way to get through this.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, well, you said new a couple times, so I was like, is this?
2 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So don't be surprised if you get a non-renewal. It's not finalized yet. We're working on it. Don't take it out on Misty. She's a sweetheart. Come to us, call Carl. And,
Oh, Carl.
sorry, Carl. I didn't say your name.
Yes. Call Nikki.
Sorry, guys. The other one I had on new business that we can talk about later is there's some talk and some things about a blue way and some river usage through the city, but that's not anything I think we need to burden ourselves with today. That's more informational. Any comments from the board?
I would like to get on the agenda next month to discuss about the office building at Prairie Creek. That's a pretty expensive building to maintain. For how many people's in there? 2? So, I mean, we could move people back to the boat launch. And then that way, that thing's manned all the time, and let's get rid of that building or lease that building or
Figure out a way to,
get revenue out of it versus, because I'm sure the electric bill there is quite astronomical.
okay. I'll get that on the.
I would
agenda.
just like that on the agenda for discussion.
Yep. Getting those steps in.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. I will say, we do have the Cook Environmental Center in there as well, which could be an asset in the future, as well as the upstairs. I'm not sure historically what the relationship has been with leasing that out, if that's a possibility. I can do my homework in that capacity too, in preparation for this next meeting to discuss other opportunities there as well. Because I think that it could be an asset to us.
Yeah,
if we
it
work
previously
towards it.
was rented,
Yeah.
and then that, it's not been renewed, or I think we need to look at that again as the building discussion. Anything else from the board?
No.
Nope. Carl, she's gonna have you tomorrow.
So, yeah, we've been here quite some time, but this might be addressed to Mark. So just needed to have some clarification on our security at Tui's. So we got an invoice for $7,000 that we've already processed. So I wasn't in on the conversation on the agreement. Is that 7,000 combined with the police department? Is that 7,000 from parks? And then, because what I was told was it was gonna be split. So is that a total of 14? Or is that 7? And if that's gonna continue, will they always be, because we went from $25 an hour, then we proposed 45, and that was turned down. And then somebody agreed for 60. It wasn't me.
I can tell you what has happened on that. The cost was split. The police budget kicked in
Okay.
a substantial amount to get it boosted because they couldn't get officers that were wanting to do the work at the pay
Okay.
that was offered. The maximum amount that should have come out of the parks budget was what was budgeted for security at TUI. So that's what the agreement was. So we need to check to make sure those numbers match. But I think they do.
And I know we was in a pinch time zone to get security in place, but is this going to be ongoing? Will that?
Yeah.
Well, I think we just need to evaluate what our security plan is for next year, which,
Absolutely.
Probably January is not too soon to be figuring out everything TUI this year.
All right. Thanks.
Misty, Nikki, anything from the public?
And I'd like to thank the board for taking their time this evening. And everybody from Prairie Creek that extended our time.